The new KCB mobile loan is unbelievably flexible and incredibly affordable. You can now borrow up to 1 million Kenya shillings from as low as 1.2% as a 1-day, 7-day, 14-day, 30-day loan, or enjoy a longer-term period of up to 1 year at competitive rates. Dial *522# or apply on the KCB app today. The KCB mobile loan, unbelievably flexible, incredibly affordable. KCB, for people, for better. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Kenya, Twende Mbele, NCBA. Go for it.
Komasta natin ba Eldoret ako kimi eng magawet noton nebo Silver Line noton nimite eng kwen noton nebo taon.
Eng tetutiani ko tugul kewenye eng orit akobo tuguk chotok cheterter chetinyegei ak tililindo.
Mengo sirin tetutiet noton nebo mungaret ak bandab tai neitun eng ketesiet nebo Kass Tv eng kila kasitab somok.
Bana ngolele mewe sukul alabat amwe kimamoche ale mosit.
Kikushini kong tuguk cheterter chetinyin inye kabatindet.
Kila komut kasi kongete sait aeng nebo kemboi tetutiet ko #nenetesetai.
Imuch kotar eng boroindo nebo somok eng labatet nebo Kass Marathon ko koimuch kobut record nebo women only record nebo marathon eng taonit notok nebo London.
Koi minister nebo agriculture akemwa kele kakomong phosphate chema phosphate cheng'ung'unye kolya matunun akomwa kole makwaakse kokeny onyoiwekab kabatik.
Cheni yalasu agawe ngongoi baba mugisarwa.
Kass TV agine kora Kass FM International. Kitesetai ak roadshow kong'eten uluogi nomol kabo subui.
Eng nyanjet niton po Lake Baringo noton koboto alak eng nyasutietab beek chekimut kobet telelet melit eng kenyitab 2004.
Jumatatu agoi komut kasi. Kongete sait 11 ako sait 12 ak kebeberyat nebo koskoleng.
Akomwa kibagenge nebo Cambridge kokochi kurset eng serikali nebo emoni koteshi icheket rabisiek.
Akisi amini kabisa.
Ako kama kawaida hii iko request akatugul neimokyinigei kichongan igere screen ng'unyo komiten namba chebo WhatsApp anan iwe kichomasta nebo Facebook icheng kichongan Kass FM.
Magat kinet biik eng barasoshek, magat kinet biik eng kanisoshek, magat kinet biik eng forums akatugul chemuch kinyor biik.
En sheria kokonu kenyit agenge. Kongeten kokakipitishan keripilen keisto NHIF kokonu kenyit agenge kot keyai transition.
Ndekibendi tu nguno akerwa kokeyai mazoezi eng marathon. Kebendi ngemiyo inai ke korok ile mi committee meting'ung biik 7. Meting'ung chemengen ile ng'o.
Tos kora chamdaat keveten anan makiveten kandoik chekiran komuch kobois ko cabinet secretaries en tai. Kongoi kot missing wakili Kipkoech Ng'etich imiten taonit nebo Nakuru.
Asikorwech missing kotinygei ak samutik chotok tindoi meng'ikab Nandi eng serikalitab emoni. Nelson Tarbei neng'ong soet.
Nekinyoru sirinenyo Isaac Koge nemi kwen nebo taonitab Eldoret.
Kongoi missing Karo Kiplagat kole kemwa ko kimi eng county noton nebo Uasin Gishu ako eng target yung kakonin pichait noton neu taonitab Eldoret.
Kepinyenyi.
Igaske Samson amunen kaberuren nekiberuren Jehova. Emwa kora ile ii agenge eng kanetik chotok chebo Sunday schools. Aha, otinye kanetik chetya?
Tinye kanetik chechang sarmanekit kanetik 6 ko mi departments mi akwane aneti ng'alekab brigade.
Mokochoronik chuk ako lagok chekiasiche ongekilgei eng labatet iyai mazoezi kiy age tugul ko iyai mazoezi at komenam akot tiembe komekese kiy ko ngomenam akot keldong'ung komami kiy iyome.
Betutab raini tetutiet ko nebo boisionik chebo keljin.
Around 93-95 kila kalach betab kahawa. So nikaanza sasa hata nguno aalde choto.
Mising chitab Kalenjin amangu ole chamegei eng olda tugul ole tesetai nyorune tugetab Kass TV eng saishechu.
Kikamwa biik kole kikowalak the political environment. Kemwa kora. The politics is not about Azimio.
Yes.
Or Kenya Kwanza. The politics is about this issue.
In the sense that we would have wished to have somebody who is versed with issues about education, not law.
Ni sawa kabisa kichame tenwagik chi, please tenwa naba Masai kiasi tu.
So Masai kora. Bas kitieni ra ko isubuhi. Amite Masai. Nyosarwon ko Masai.
Yes. Tebutiet namin natin, ito yung mugil kay boysiya second dose ito yung kono jagay.
Kaya momoita kikwa sukul. Kaya gaite chego kikoba sukul.
Siamini. Aki asante. Kongoi nyamunga itaje. Asante.
Kupata KCB mobile loan bonyeza *522# au tumia KCB app leo. KCB for people for better. Sheria na masharti kutumika. Inadhibitiwa na Benki Kuu ya Kenya.
Agatin mising chitab Kalenjin atinye kamangunet neo ale ichamegei akimi komie nui tugul negere ketesiet nebo Kass TV en koskolengut nito nebo betutab Jumatatu nebo tarik 26 arawetab 8 kenyitab 2024. Itagat eng logoiwekab emet kobun tetutiet nebo tililindo. Kainenyu ko Caroline Kiplagat. Betutab raini kokitaunen county nebo Uasin Gishu sukulitab barak nebo Moi ole kakotou kong'elelchin boisiet konetik chebo sukulit noton nebo Moi University en county nebo Uasin Gishu en kit nemwoe ichek kole tomo kelipan melekwek chebo oroek oeng koboto arrears chebo rabinik chetomo kelipan kong'eten arawetab 7 nebo kenyitab 2017. Kondochini nebo kecheret nebo UASU en Moi University Richard Okello komwa konetik choto kole eng nematiny komawekchinigei ichek boisiet akoi koker kole kaisuldo chi sukulit noton bo barak nebo Moi magutik kwa choton cheterter. Ak nguni kinyoru sirindenyo Timothy Kiplimo koyotwech logoiwek cho chebo betutab raini.
Angot komechome tieni konito koimuch koek agenge eng tiendo nebo kotugul en wikini kong'ete kanetikab sukulishekab secondary akoi kanetikab sukulishekab barak kou chebo Moi University.
From today, the 26th August 2024, as the chairperson of Moi University, I officially declare this strike in Moi University officially launched.
Kosubkei ak nebo ng'echeret en UASU nebo sukulitab barak nebo Moi Richard Okello kokikotoptochi batai sukulinoto magutikab kiboitinik cheboto lipanetab melekwek ak tiletab rabinik chekikoitoi koek pension nekamwa kole maisuldoe sukulinoto.
We will go back to work on the condition that our salaries of July, our salaries of August, for the 2 months, all the arrears accruing from July 2017 are paid into our accounts. Then we will go negotiate on the return to work formula. And in the return to work formula, we must sort all the issues which are bedeviling Moi University. The major one being non-remittance of third-party deduction.
Moche en inguni konetichoto serikalitab emoni kochutyi asikoker kole kakilitit kaimutik chebunu sugulinoto bo barak nebo Moi.
Ukiaje Moi University 4 billion chetom kolipan. So kesome president kele ya isaru biik alak kisaru wakulima eng ngalekab phosphate, kisaru Kenya Airways, kisaru ola tugul, saru Moi University. Kimache inyo ak isugan ak helicopter nabo jeshi kabisa, isugan ak ingololji wafanyakazi ak iistoiwech kandoik tugul chebo Moi University sikojulak Moi University.
This is the second university of Kenya. Amanyalu kokutuny akokere kunotok iman. Matongelelchech akoker kenyalildosi. Orire bichu kikobois wafanyikazi ako katab kityo kole okone melekwek kyok amu kikeboishe.
En kasarata ko kaindochi sirindet nebo katuiyetabgei nebo konetik nebo KUPPET mornetab Uasin Gishu Elijah Kimeli Mayo konetikab county notok en kangelelchinetab boisiet eng nekamwa kole mabendi kowekse ichek boisiet akoi koityi commission netonondochin siretab konetik boisiet nebo TSC magutik tugul chebo konetik kowen kaurorit nebo CBA.
Ya kwanza tunataka mkataba wetu wa CBA ambao tuliagana nao mwaka jana ikuwe implemented in full. Ya pili tunataka medical scheme yetu ya walimu ambao kwa mwaka kwa namna moja ama nyingine imedunishwa kupitia kwa fedha chache kutengewa kuliko ile ambayo ilikuwa imepaniwa kutengewa mwaka jana.
Wazazi wabaki na wanafunzi wao mpaka siku yenye watasikia Secretary General wa KUPPET akisema strike imeisha. Otherwise wakae na watoto wao, ndio watoto wakae na watoto wao nyumbani.
Kongete taunit neo nebo Eldoret en county nebo Uasin Gishu logoiwekab emet chebo Kass TV kanini ko Timothy Kiplimo.
En kasarata ko en kasarta nekakiyat sugulishek eng betutab raini ko kotou kangelelchinetab boisiet konetik chemito kibagengeit nebo KUPPET en county nebo Nandi ole moche kasimjin ichek serikali kosuldochi magutik kwak ole mwoe sirindet nebo KUPPET mornetab Nandi Paul Rotich kole moweksei let ichek akoi kasarta nemokoshi serikali magutik kwak cheboto siretab konetik chebo JSS permanent and pensionable en kwenutab magutik alak. En inguni kinyoru sirinenyo Cornelius Keter akoendekab logoiwek choton kongeten Nandi.
Kong'ololjin sirikab logoiwek eng taonitab Kapsabet komwa sirindet neo nebo kibagengeitab konetik nebo KUPPET mornetab Nandi Paul Rotich kole maweksei konetik sukul akoi kot kokoshi serikali rirekwak cheboto kesir eng permanent konetik chebo junior secondary school.
We need to be serious as a government and we are demanding that before we call off the strike 46,000 teachers must be employed on permanent and what?
Kamwa Rotich kole chang konetik chekikotebi eng job group agenge eng kenyisiek chechang kotomo kokoi serikali promotion.
The promotion of 130 teachers who have stagnated in the various job group. It is unfortunate that even here in Nandi, we have so many colleagues who have been in the same job group for over 15 years. It is so discouraging. It is so disappointing. Right now we have so many stations in Nandi County without principal. So many stations in Nandi counties without deputy principal. And it is so sad that many a time, despite the fact that we have EPO administrators in our ministries, we see people coming from the other areas.
Kates Rotich komwa kole mitei konetik cheketile chepkondok kobate maityin kibagengeishek chenyolu kikoch chepkondok chotok cheu benkishek kit nekokoipchi kouit eng konetik konyor loans.
Deduction to various organizations. It is unfortunate that this is the third month whereby the third party deduction, these are deductions which goes to banks and other institutions, are being met in our pay slip, but unfortunately it is not being remitted to the right organization. Most of these teachers who are here today and others who are not here have been blacklisted. They have been listed at CRB, and they cannot access financial assistance from various organizations.
Today we are on the road requesting the TSC to listen to the teachers and promote them. Personally, I've been teaching for the last 24 years. I've never had a promotion.
Kotinygei ak tugetab konyoiset nebo konetik komwa Rotich kole mayani kichuchui chepkondok chekitokyin cover chebo konetikab emoni.
The government is not giving us a free cover. The cover which we are enjoying as teachers is contributory. We used to have medical allowance, but they were taken away, and cumulatively the teachers have raised 22 billion. That is the amount which is deducted from teachers across board. And we were shocked the other day when we were told the government want to reduce the cover from 22 billion to 11 billion. Hiyo ni daylight robbery.
Kongete taunitab Kapsabet eng county nebo Nandi, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Cornelius Keter.
En county nebo Kericho ko kaisuldae kambaget neunoton konetik chemito en katuyetab kei nebo KUPPET ole kabayai bandagab oret eng taonitab Kericho ako yororosini nenyo Robert Siele komwoe konetik choto kole agoi kasarta nemokokoshi TSC ak serikali mogutikwak cheimuch koker kole kawektagei sukul kobaten en inguno komoche serikali kosuldochi ichek mogutikwak.
Kong'ololchin ketishani en oret ne inegen komwa sindetab kibangetab konetik nebo KUPPET en county nebo Kericho Mary Rotich kole katil icheket kong'elelchi boisiet ak kowek kambaget kosubkei ak netomo kokonyit icheket kibanget nesire konetik nebo Teachers Service Commission ak koityi magutikwak.
Ko kingoba kobo kotobot bichu ko en rirek chekikitinye ko mamach koib chechit. Kibwa kochobotin icheket kokonech CBA kityo nikibo last time. Nikimako CBA okot ngamun ki rabinik chemi aliet nemi ngweny kot missing 7 to 9% ako kikelipan en 2 phases. Ko kokikere kele mamach koib chechit. Request tugul chekikikochi, rirek chekikitinye tugul en demands ko masoman okot, manam okot, maaror ki, mamach koebit. Ko noton amune sikokilege ko kikonetik matongeat sukul tamanan ko kasech en sautit neo nekimwoe kebwane streets kouni ak stay away from school sikomat kotestai kasit age tugul asikoib chechit akoteb kole kikole ne bichu.
Kosubkei ak Mary Rotich komoche kora kesir konetikab junior secondary schools en permanent and pensionable asikonyor icheket lipanet nenyolchin.
Kitinye konetik 46,000 cheyoe kasit ko interns alak ko kikoyai en kenyit agenge alak ko kokotar kenyisiek 2 ako en iman ko kikoseretyo konetichu kot missing ngamun ndebare iker rabisiek chekilipanchin komi ngweny kabisa ako sukulisiek chebendi ko loen ak sobet nekokouit kouni. Ko en kenyisiek 2 inai ile kikoyai bichon kasit neo kot missing ako kikakilenji kikonfirmen nok en arawani FCC kot ko kikatobot parliament ako pasen kole kakepasen rabisiekab JSS.
En kasaratan komwa nebo ng'echeret en kibagengenoton bo konetik nebo KUPPET John Korir kole koimutiet age kora nemiten ko katororetab konetichoton cheibu kasarta nekoi ak kokochi icheket kewelutik.
Agenge en tuguk chekimoche kemoche kipromoten konetik 130,000 130,000. Kikobur konetichu en job group agenge kasarta nekoi. Ko ane ko kiabur en job group nomiten nguni sanyoni ko kiabur kenyisiek 15. That is why igere en Kericho County ak Kenya mzima kilenen kityo acting deputy, acting principal. Nangele acting deputy, acting principal. Amu mamache ko promoten konetichu amu makochin ki. Ko kakemwa kele okonech allowances chebo acting.
Ng'alyon kokonech CS nebo Labour Mheshimiwa Mbadi ko komwa kole momi rabisiekab JSS ng'alekab parliament chechono. Ko noton amune sikekere kele kakemach CS nebo Treasury kakomach kimutech kebiren ekona. Noton amune sikemang'u kouni.
Kamwa konetichoton kole mawekse let icheket amawekse boisiet kot kekasyi magutikwak.
Kimoche kemwa en sigik kele kurset nekakitinye ko kakisome kele katotebie lagok en gaa. Ngamun mabitu konetik chebo konete lagochu. Makingen kele bokoribe ng'oe ng'alekab discipline. Ngamun akot chemabwa yu ko kakomwon kole makibe sukul. Ako kale makibendi. Ako chumi yunguni ko kakoleo makityeche sukul kotar kemwowe kele ngalek chekokakikon ko kokokas Teacher Service Commission.
Amangwan itinye konyitenyon, itinye lakwet nemiten gaa. Ak itinye imwochi politicians ile ongesir biik kokaranit. Kubet power. Otherwise makibendi sukul paka kolian kokaswech somutikyok TSC. Kongoi missing.
Kongeten county nebo Kericho, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Kongeten Kericho kokibendi county nebo Nakuru ole katestai kora kambaget neu noton nekasuldaen konetik chemito en kibagengeit nebo KUPPET en county noton nebo Nakuru. Nguni kinyoru sirindenyo Sylvester Rono.
En county nebo Nakuru kokoimonge konetik choton che chongindanywan konetishe en secondary akoba oret komache serikali kokashirire kwak. Alak en magutik chebo konetik choton koboto kisuldaen kayonchinet nenaat ko CPM anan kisuldaen en oret netogu ako nebo iman katororetab konetik ak missing kekonyit konetik kou kiboitinik alak chebo serikali.
Nguni makiweksei class kotkoteswei rabinik. No CBA, no school. No CBA, no school.
Kakila kimeje promotion automatic. After 3 years you go to the next job group. Kiko yegne TSC kila itimin job group for 20 years.
Na Nancy Macharia aende.
Nancy Macharia kongechoka.
Nancy Macharia akwende.
Kongechoka kabisa.
Huyo mama amechoka.
Makiweksei school our 9 demands are met.
Kandochi konetik choton kandoik chebo kibagengeitab KUPPET en Nakuru chekaboto nenomu legut anan treasurer Kiptongetich Nancy Chelagat ne inendet ko sirindet nebo gender en kwenutab kandoik alak chebo KUPPET en county nebo Nakuru.
Kimaike respecten profession nebo konetik, kikesasech ak kekere kele makimuche ki.
Kimi yu ko kikonetik amu tabusiek chechang chekitinye. Ameche amwoi serikalit yo kongete President Arap Ruto kikikwei komie kikikochi kuraisiek komie kele meche sinyokosarwech lakini kokouit sobet missing. Kit netai nameche amwoiwok sigik chokero ko kisigik akichek. Komi gaa lagok chekwak komi gaa chechok akichek. Makibendi sukul kotun kekonde haki nenyo serikali.
Kongeten county nebo Nakuru logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Sylvester Rono.
Keistoenge kangelelchinetab boisiet netesetai kosuldoen kibagengeit nebo KUPPET en emet ko nguni ko kikushini kong logoiwek chebo nyigisindo nebo familia agenge nebo komosta nebo Kapkoros eng Chebara Marakwet Cherongo en county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet ole koibet familia noton biik mut kobun nyosutietab oret nekibit en kemboutab Jumamos en komosta nebo Lumaganda Eldoret Road en Lugari county noton nebo Kakamega. Mwat kele kibunu familia noton kubortogei anan show up en komosta nebo Bungoma ole tesetai alage anan biik alage oengu konyoru konyoiset en sipitalit nebo referral en county nebo Uasin Gishu.
Tulipata hii maneno kwa uzito, tulipokea kwa uzito sana na tumepoteza wanafamilia 5. Hata hatuna la kusema, tunaomba tu serikali yetu ya county pamoja na rais wetu pia watusaidie kwa sababu imekuwa ngumu na imekuwa nzito kama familia yetu. Tulipokea kwa uzito.
Kama majirani ama relatives wa ipo ama imetuaffect kwa sababu janga hili hatujawahi kusikia ama hatujawahi kupata watu 5 wakiishi siku moja. So tumeshindwa la kufanya, lakini kwa uwezo wa Mungu tumepanga ili kesho tuwe na mchango na tufanye mashishi ya pamoja. Hatungeweza kufanya moja kwa sababu ya karama pia.
Tunaomba serikali yetu ya kaunti kabisa watusaidie kwa ukweli. Maana hii ni msito. Watu 5 ni kazi kubwa sana kwa familia. Kwa hivyo tunaomba usaidizi ya hali ya juu.
Kibendi nguni county nebo Bomet ole kaitita bunge nebo county noton bo Bomet. Ministaek oengu kobun ogilionde ngwany Desmond Leteipa asikowalu tebutik kobun MCAs akobo kit nekimwaita ichek kele maisuldaen boisiengwany en oret netagunot ole kisirto MCAs keisto icheget eng boisiet. Eric Ngetich ne minister nebo ortinwek ak teksosiek agora Joseph Kirui ne minister nebo administration and public service ko maimuch koteta taitab assembly noton kobaten kaboisie ogilionde ngwany asikowalu tebutik kobun MCAs. Festus Rono ak report kong'eten Bomet.
Kobun ogilionde nywan Desmond Leteipa nekachita taitab ad hoc committees chebo bunge nebo Bomet asikowal tebutik nekoto ministaek oeng noton bo oratinwek ak teksosiek Eric Ngetich ak nebo administration ak public service Joseph Kirui kosubkei ak nekikimwaitaen ichek kele kiboisien ofisinywan ak malikab emet en oret nemanyolunot.
List of 216 motor vehicles here, which most of them have been lying in the garages, various garages, despite having a budget line for the maintenance of the same motor vehicles. Maybe just to highlight a few, Chair, we have a vehicle registration number 36 CG 087A Isuzu D-Max for the Department of Administration that has been lying at Tofly, Karachi.
Aware also the role of the CEC in charge of the county, is in charge of the vital, the CEC is in vital smooth running of the county affairs, ensuring that the services are delivered efficiently and effectively to our citizens. However, when the holder of such office, Mr. Chair, is found to have violated the very principles they swore to uphold, it becomes incompetent upon us as it become incompetent upon us to act decisively.
En tai ko kabun kewelinwek ogilion Leteipa kosubkei ak nekamwa alak en MCAs kole matinye lesenit nebo boisiet kobaten en let ko kanyor chamchinet kowal tebutik kobun MCAs ichotok.
The validity of an advocate's practicing status is crucial to the integrity of these proceedings, and as such, the committee will immediately commence an investigation to ascertain the accuracy of this claim. Should it be found that Council Mr. Leteipa does not possess a valid practicing certificate, you will be denied further audience by this committee, and not only this committee, but this House by extension. And additional measures may be taken in accordance with the parliamentary powers and privileges, that's according to the County Assembly's Act of 2017.
Tetat kosir akokoito report committees ichotok koityi County Assembly inotok en kasitab mut wikini akobo koistoetab ministaek chotok.
It is that opportunity that I also want to inform you that the reason for the sitting of this committee is for us to determine whether the charges against one Honorable Dr. Joseph Kipngetich Kirui warrant his removal from office. That's why we are sitting today in this hearing where we have invited you. We invited your client, and now that you are representing him, an opportunity to present himself, and so that this committee, after hearing from you and your client, we will retreat and make a decision whether the allegation warrant his removal from office.
Kong'eten county nebo Bomet, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Festus Rono.
Eng logoiwek alak ko manyolu kewekta agoi serikalit neo chepkondok chebo bursary chenyoru counties choton ko chebo CDF ak NGAF kou ye koimongu en ngalalenyin CJ nebo emoni noton ko Martha Koome eng wikit nekosirto chuton ko kosubkei ak MP nebo Keyo North Adams Kipsanai nekamwa kole ngo yeisub emoni kokotiet noton kowendi kowektoi let tetutiet noton nebo somanet ko tetutiet noton nekikeyochi devolution. Kinyoru nguni Andrew Kimeto ak report.
Kosubkei ak ngalalet nekimong kandoik alake cheboto Chief Justice Martha Koome eng wikit nekosirtoi kole makat keisto kakoitoetab bursaries eng county, CDF ak National Government Affirmative Action anan GAF ak ketokyi legut agenge eng Ministry nebo Somanet asikoek somanet nebo buch eng emoni. Kakomwa MP nebo Keyo North Adams Kipsanai kole angot koisub emoni kakwautiet noto kowendi kochaske tetutikab somanet eng emet. Kongololi eng taonitab Iten komwa membayanoto kole manamege kursonoto ak magutikab devolution neikochini serikalishek chebo county kotelelchi somanosiekab sukulishekab musoknotet anan TVETs kou ye iaroru ngatutikab emet.
Kuweka kikapu moja ikuwe inashughulikia mambo ya bursaries, lakini tutakuwa sasa centralize, tumerudisha tena kila kitu to the national level, kwa sababu niko sure kwamba hakutakuwa na fursa kama hii ambapo watu wenyewe wanaweza kuidentify ni mwanafunzi yupi ambaye anahitaji zaidi. Ya pili ni kwamba ile kitu ningependelea tu ni kwamba tuweke categorization, kwamba county government aswa serikali za ugatuzi waweze kuconcentrate kwa mfano kwa TVET ama wale wanafunzi ambao wanaenda somo za ujuzi zile za VCTs ambaye inasimamiwa na counties. Alafu kwa ofisi ya kupitia NGCDF iangalie wale wanafunzi ambao wako secondary schools. Kwa sababu hii maneno ya kulindikiza na kusanya kila kitu, I can assure you, isipo tengenezwa vizuri kutakuwa na crisis kubwa sana.
Angot kotokchi emoni koyum chepkondok choto bo bursary eng legut agenge koimuch kora kobit kaimutiet nebo rarunetab chepkondok eng sukulishek angot komaitiakta serikali chepkondok choto koityi sukulishek choto eng kasarta neititaat.
Tukisema iendelee namna hiyo, there will be cases of delay disbursement. Kama kwa mfano saizi wakati mwingine unasikia capitation fee ya wanafunzi imechelewa kwa nini, so kutakuwa na cases kama hizo, na utakuta kwamba ule ambaye yako maskini katika jamii atabaki kuwa maskini forever. Mimi nasema kwa sasa, kabla tujazungumzia mambo mengi, bado bursaries aswa ile ambaye inasimamiwa kupitia NGCDF, kwa sababu iko na success stories kama hii yetu ya Keyo North Constituency ambapo kuja waitokea malalamishi yote, kwa sababu ule ambaye amependekezwa na jamii ndiye anapata.
Karirtae kora Kipsanai funding model nebo universities chebo emoni eng nekamwa kole bune uindo neo mising kipsomaninik eng lipanetab fees amu kikichokchi kasuldaetab funding model noto.
Inahitaji bado wakati. Mimi ningeonelea kwamba tukiintroduce a new model, we give it time, kwamba grace period of between now to 3 years itakuwa applicable, so that we start preparing our people psychologically, wakijua kwamba next itakuwa hivi. Kwa nini nasema hivi? Kwa sasa hivi nimepata visa mingi ya wanafunzi ambaye wanakuja wakisema kwa wako jua, wakaandika huko, wakaweka option number 5, cluster number 5. Na mtu ni mtu ambaye ajiwezi mbele wala nyuma, ni jamii ndio inamshughulikia. Kwa hivyo those are some of the things ambapo naona kwamba instead of kukimbiza watu wetu, tuwapeleke pole pole.
Kongete county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Andrew Kimeto.
Eng tetutik chebo kekanapta tetutikab konyoiset ak tililindo en county nebo Narok kokaitiakta serikalitab county noton bo Narok nebo Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu kerichek chebo olietab million 90 koityi sipitalishek cheterter eng wadishek 30 chemito en county noton bo Narok.
We are happy to be here today at Narok Referral Hospital, and it has become every quarter we come and launch drugs worth of 90 million. From Med, it's about 38 million Kenya shilling, and 52 from TEMSA. In this county, we have made it a tradition that my team goes around and check whether we have drugs in our health facilities, particularly dispensaries in our remote areas. And we have been monitoring for the last 2 years whether the drugs that we are supplying quarterly is enough. And I'm happy to report that it is enough. It is just that now that we have built more dispensaries and more maternity wings, the amount might go a little bit higher to about 120 million. But we are working on that. But generally, personally, as the governor of Narok, I'm happy that KEMSA and MED has been able to provide or has been able to supply drugs on time. And we continue to work together to make sure that the issue of drugs and supplies has been addressed adequately.
Kiwektege chitab kalenjin eng kasarta age county nebo Nandi ole kakobochi MP nebo Aldai en county nebo Nandi Marian Keitany kokoitet nekoib kapkirwok nebo Kapsabet kongat chi agenge kokonu oret newendi sukulitab primary nebo Kapkegenda en Aldai county nebo Nandi. Kabit niton en kasarta nekokotestai kobitu terchinet neo en kwenutab meng'ikab komosata bo Kapkegenda ak chichoto moisot oret newendi sukulit noton Kapkegenda ole moche chichoto anan moche mengichoto chichoto kokonu oret asikobit komuch koitita kipsomaninik sukulit noton bo Kapkegenda primary. Nguni kinyoru Nelson Tarbei ak report.
Kamwa Marian kole kikotestai kobit terchinet neo eng kwenutab meng'ikab komosatab Kapkegenda ak meng'indet agenge nebo kokwonoto komaitos oret nekibune kebendi sukulinoto bo Kapkegenda ole kiker chichoto oret newendi sukul.
So nilipokuja hapa tukaongea na wananchi wakaniarifu wakanipatia historia yote ya vile hii shule ilitokea na vile hiyo barabara imefungwa. Na nilipojaribu kuongea na mwenyeji ambaye alifunga barabara nikaona ni vigumu, nikasema mwenye ataweza kujibu ili swali ni kotini, kwa sababu mkijaribu kuongea na haiwezekani basi koti itaamua. So mimi nilichukua hiyo hatua na shule tukaenda kotini tukisema tunataka barabara ile ilikuwa imepeanwa na mwenye hii shamba kabla hajaiuza ifunguliwe.
Kabaibachi Marian kakwautiet nekoib kapkirwok kongat chichoto kokon oret newendi sukul eng kasarta netestai kirwoket.
Temporary orders, kesi bado inaendelea. Temporary order ya kwanza ni huyo mwenye alifunga shamba ambaye ni Sami Choge afungue barabara kwa shamba lake. Alafu koti pia itakuja hapa ground ikuje iangalie kwanza kama hiyo shamba ya Sami Choge yenye ilikuwa ya ule mzee kabla ya Sami Choge ambaye alikuwa anaitwa Ezekiel Kibitok bado kweli ilikuwa shamba alikuwa amepatia shule, ndio wakuje waangalie na alafu pia waangalie barabara ambayo watoto walikuwa wanatumia kabla hiyo barabara ifungwe.
Hengainda ko kibit terchinet neo eng kwenutab meng'ikab kokwonoto bo Kapkegenda chichoto ole koibor nerekek meng'ikab kokwonoto eng mwaet kole kenyor ichek kamuiset kobun chichoto koboisie bundukit.
Kwa vile yeye anasema alikuwa anatumia hiyo bunduki kwa kufanya kitu inaitwa self defense, lakini wananchi kwao wanasema hakukuwa na self defense au walikuwa wanaenda kufungua barabara. So polisi wamechukua hiyo hatua, wameanza investigation na tayari yeye amerecord statement. So tunahitaji sasa wananchi wa hapa pia waweze kurecord statement kusema ni nini ilifanyika, kwa sababu saa hizi tukiongea DCI wetu wa Nandi South wako na story ya mahali moja tu peke yake, huyo mwenye alikuwa na bunduki. Hawana story ya wananchi.
Kounoto ko anganda kabaibachi ichek ng'atutienoto bo kapkirwok nekong'at chichoto koyat oranoto komaboibochin ichek oret nekokon chichoto.
Nini kitafuata?
Wananchi walikuwa wanataka ile barabara ya kwanza yenye walikuwa wamepatiwa mbeleni, lakini hiyo ni mambo ambayo kotini itaamua. Lakini hii barabara ya pili ni barabara ambayo wananchi wenyewe mwaka wa 2013 walikuwa wamekubali isongeshwe, na hiyo ndio barabara leo imefunguliwa. Na tukiona hiyo barabara iko na mawe mingi.
Kasa Marian meng'ichoto kosich muitet eng kasarta netestai kirwoket ole kayamis meng'ichoto kole bitu imanda eng konekit.
Hiyo ndio maana nilisema tufuate sheria, kwa sababu sheria iko na watoto wa Kenya.
sheria iko na sisi wote, na najua kuwa hata kesi hii ikiendelea, mimi najua kuwa sheria itatii na itaangalia rights ya watoto.
Makemuch kenyoru Samichake asikobit kokon akine kerenyi. Ole akot kounoto koyomis Deputy County Commissioner nebo Aldai Barak Oponyo meng'ichoto kole wendi kobitu oret newendi sukul.
Na aliambiwa hata kama ni yako, mnanipata? Fungua pahali watoto wafanye nini? Waende shule. Ndio judgment iendelee.
Kong'eteke county nebo Nandi, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass. Kainenyu ko Nelson Tarbei.
Kagesom biikab emet kong'ong kaimutik chebune kwonyik ak lagok che tibik mising ko chetinyegei ak usisiet, nyerset ak baretab lagok che tibik chetogu kokotestai kolany eng emet. Chuton kokosubkei ak women reps chebo counties cheterter chekaituyogei akoyai tuyet en county nebo Uasin Gishu. Kinyoru nguni Isaac Ogei ak oindakab logoiwek choton.
Kamwa kandoichotok bo kwonyik kondochin women rep Beatrice Adagala kole kokochang'a mising kaimutik chetinyegei ak kanyalilet, usisiet ak baretab lagok chotok che tibik anan gender based violence kobun ortinwek chotok cheterter.
So what we are just appealing upon parents, when children come home, take care of them. When they mess about, bring them on table, have dialogue with them, we talk to them so that they don't misbehave, and as parents we overreact, we beat them up. And also men, don't beat up your women. Those are your friends, you met as girlfriends and boyfriends, you loved each other. So the idea of fighting each other in the homes isionekane. Hata wanaume pia hao wanalimwa mangumi na hawasemi. Ndio sababu tunasema mambo ya gender based violence, wanaume msiogope, museme.
Kosubkei women rep noton nebo county nebo Kericho Beatrice Kemei konyolu eng biik tugul koib kakwautik chotok chebo ribetab lagok chemengechen ak kong'ong icheket cheisuldoe nyersosiek eng noton nebo keipchi kerkong'et, kobate manyolu kora kikochi boroindo kasetab kaimutik cheu chotok eng gaa.
So we're asking the security agencies in this country, not in one county but in all the counties, to be vigilant and to make sure that the case or the cases are concluded. When it goes to court, sometimes it is not concluded. So justice delayed is justice denied. We are also asking our people not to compromise and not to settle cases at home, because that is the norm. They say outside settling is better than going to court. And we are asking our daughters, wherever they are, to be vigilant. Cases of rape is everywhere. Our school children are raped, others are even those who are going to school and those who have not even gone to school.
Kiit noton nekarop eut women rep nebo county nebo Nandi Cynthia Muge nesome kapkirwok koityi kamanut kasetab lelutik cheu chotok ak kosom kobit imanit kasarta noton nekikose lelutik eng biik chotok cheisuldae kaimutik cheu chotok eng lagok.
Na wakati mwingi tunapata ya kwamba mtu akipelekwa kotini, there is always a problem with the justice system, ya kwamba wanachukua muda mwingi kuresolve hizo cases. Lakini nataka kusema hivi, kila wakati kukipatikana na violence against any of our genders, because gender based violence is not a women's issue, it's an issue of all the genders, male and female. Ya kwamba tukipata na makosa kama hiyo ikifanyika, tuhakikisha ya kwamba we are preserving the evidence, tuhakikisha ya kwamba we are following the due process so that we can be able to report it legally na tuweze kufuatilia, tuweze kukua pia watu ambao we are keen on following on the cases, tufuatilie, twende kotini, siku za mentions twende, so that kesi isikufe kwa njia ambayo haikubaliki, so that we can bring justice to every person who has suffered gender based violence.
Kangalaldos icheket eng ainab koi kasarta noton nekaroptoi bursaries ak scholarship ak tuguk chotok chebo toretet koityi kibagengeisiekab neranik, biik chotok chetinye kewelutik eng borwek, kwonyik ak grupisiek chotok chebo chepyosok kobun ofisitab women rep noton nebo county nebo Uasin Gishu Gladys Bosch Sholei.
Hapa Uasin Gishu County na nimekuja na women MPs, my colleagues, nimefurahi sana wamekuwa hapa na sisi. And today we were doing empowerment programs. We had giving equipment to young people, because many young people are not able to access government tenders because they don't have the equipment. Now they can get involved in road construction, they can get involved in house constructions. That's it, they have the cement mixers. And then also we had a challenge with schools who don't have water tanks, so we gave about 100 schools who are beneficiaries of the water tanks.
And then also there was bursaries that we gave out, 18 million shillings worth of bursaries that went out to various kids in Uasin Gishu County. And also earlier we had actually donated the sanitary towels, but today we just announced it, but they've been distributed to all the schools, the JSS schools.
Kongeteke taonit neo nebo Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Kagomwa nebo ngecheret eng board nebo sukulitab Mara Silalei Academy en county nebo Narok, Engineer Johnston Ole Nchoi, kole bo kamanut ketech sukulisiek eng komoswek cheterter chebo emet eng oretab kekanapta nyorunetab somanet eng lagok chebo emoni. Kongoloni inen en kasarta nebo yatetab klasisiek 2 chebo ECDE eng sukulit noton nebo Mara Silalei en county nebo Narok. Kinyoru nguni sirinenyo Nicholas Rono akoindakab logoiwek choton.
Kongololi kandoindet nekibeljingei ngecheretab governor en county nebo Narok en kasarta age en sukulitab Mara Silalei Academy nemiten en Mara en county nebo Narok. En igorto nebo yatetab classrooms 2 chebo ECD komwa ine kole kitech sukulinoton bo Mara Silalei Academy kosibgei ak loindab sukulisiek en komosoton bo Mara. En kole kakwautyonoton kotoreti konyorchigei lagok tugul somanet.
Tumefurahi kwa sababu mumeleta watoto wenu wengi, maana masomo na neno la Mungu ndio chanzo na msingi wa maisha mazuri kwa watoto wetu.
Kosibgei ak engineer Ole Nchoi ko magat kora en kanisosiek kochutchi sukulisiek en kotikonisiet en kole kotoreti noton kipsomaninik en atebosiek chemiachen.
Mimi ni sasa ni engineer na ningependa kuona siku sijazo watoto wa hapa wawe engineers, wawe doctors. Ningependa kuwahimiza mutie bidii kwa masomo, mushike nidhamu, maana bila nidhamu huwezi kusoma na kufaulu.
Los kakwautyonoton kandoindetab kanisosiek en Keberatan Reverend Dr. Samuel Nyukul en kole boisietab Nchoi nebo kotech sukulinoton ko kikoik kelchin en meng'ikab Mara.
Najua ya kwamba saa hii hapa itatoa watu wengi, itaelimisha watu wengi ambayo watakuwa watu ambao watakuwa wa muhimu siku za uzoni katika nchi hii ya Kenya.
Logoiwek chebo Kass TV kong'eten Mara Silalei Academy nemiten en Masai Mara en county nebo Narok. Kainenyun ko Nicholas Rono.
Kibe kamung'et kitegen chitab Kolenjin eng Newton nebo Kass TV tetutiet nebo tililindo Matinak tamoye kiwege kebendi kiwanjosiek.
Beba chapa sasa na tatua tatu. Cheza na mbao tu, ushinde chapa bonus ya hadi $500,000. Isitoshe, kila unapocheza unajiongezea nafasi ya kubeba brand new tuk-tuk, pikipiki, car wash machine, posho mill machine na bidhaa zinginezo. Usitupe mbao. Nenda kwa M-Pesa, weka paybill number 150-150. Chagua nambari zako tatu za bahati kati ya 0 na 9 ukifuatanisha na neno Kass. Kama account name, cheza na kati ya shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1,000 na ubebe chapa au bidhaa na tatua tatu.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Aya, I'm not go TV stream. It's free.
Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Download Go TV Stream app for free. Enjoy live TV na shows kamia 8. Download and watch later anytime, anywhere. Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Available to active subscribers. Go TV. Love it.
This August ni wakati wa kuachia watoto remote.
Renew your subscription today for all the big and little kids to enjoy more fun and more adventures on our cartoon-packed kids channels all month long. ST Tunes, ST Kids, ST Kids Plus, Baby TV, CBeebies, Jim Jam, Da Vinci, Toonami, Cartoon Channel, and Boing.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome!
Buy the DTH full kit for only 2,999 shillings and top up 200 shillings to get the smart bouquet. Furahi and Star Times. You can also link your decoder to the Star Times on app to enjoy unlimited entertainment on the go, anytime, anywhere. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at a discount. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will display the discount you qualify for. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies you won't find anywhere else. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Kichute nguni kiwanjoshek agitaunen walutik kobun labatet nebo anan kabeliset nebo Silesia Diamond League ole koiterter record nebo 3000 meters labatindet nebo emetab Norway Jakob Ingebrigtsen kosir inendet kasartab dagoshek 7.7 ole koiterter record ne kwagotep en kasartab kenyisiek 28 kokonamu labatindet nebo emetab Kenya Daniel Komen.
Congratulations Daniel Kipngetich Komen, 28 years koteleli record nengung nebo labatetab mitaisiek 1000 nebo dakikaisiek 7 sekundisiek 20.67 ak eng betutab amut kokiisto second somok eng record notok labatindet kobun emetab Norway Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Tos koitakta notok Daniel?
Yeah, I think the record is lazima gebut, so ilikuwa maana shida alikuwa kutinyo ile record so I think mamishida kukigote before 28 years, so I think it is something great kabisa amuyote for a long time.
Daniel Komen, tos paisiet notok nebo teknolojia wavelength koboto pacemakers ngotoret eng butetab recording betutab amut?
Yeah, I think the technology ko changanya mungi zamani ukiboishe ajeng manual pacemaker, so kunyo problem komekan mistake tugul, lakini saa hii kuboishe avoiding boishe tapping ngete zamani tungekuwa tunafunja rekodi nyingi.
Engerengung tos ko takebut record notok nebo Jakob Ingebrigtsen nebo sereng betutab amut eng emetab Poland?
Tegebute abote algine dana itemu kobut, lakini mete train na sai mungkin problem in dia Kenya ko mete train na ke pote tandi ke tangi kuiger gunyana no kula magebut amu dangar ke wanyu ni go avera lo jita na mu gunyana.
Kimi eng tai konunotiot nekikaimuch yamis chito notok nebute record nengung takomi konunotiot notok anan kiiste amu kimi konunotiot notok nebo Mercedes Benz ak mbaret eng taunetab Eldoret?
No kibachetu lakini kiingawe Brussels yogiagura nikiagura amwale ka cancel so cancel nolgami Belgium 2 years ago.
So gel mago telele nguni?
Kimato telele ngete amwang Belgium.
Ne ngaliot nebo katigonet neikochini ruoik Federation nebo labatet koboto serikalitab emoni?
Ya tingo moni biikab Kenya ko trainen hard koya mazoezi ya kutosha ako makoboisie kikenyor problem in biikab Kenya maboisie biik na atigere ku stigol kikiluze stigol ni biik kama Moses Kiptanu ni ingen ngaleab stigol kumaboisie biikab Kenya ni biik like Paul Terkat kumaboisie biikab Kenya konai kole tactics chebo 10,000 5,000 kumese kukila kunota kimeje kutai ke minister ya ngo nyamu pa college kumese kukure tirani ketemwe ikochi tugul delegation gele biik lawati 5,000 kukyo boisie witness boisie tos method kegere improving ngalekab sport ngenya amu ke boisie kiwagat kerwacho ki boisie school ko ki school le teru akel school le teru ne wa ndiaje teta umege kekoch a lot of facilities age kekoch fund ngalekab school.
Agongo missing Daniel.
Kakoitita timitab Kenya emet nebo Peru ole kiyoen kabelisosiek chebo World Under 20 Championships kong'eten betutab karon. Mi eng timitab Kenya nebo 2000 meters steeplechase lawatini Diana Chepkemoi nekamwa kole moche kosir historia nebo steeplechase en komosta nebo barnotik.
Abunu lemotit athletics training camp and a coach Paul Geme. Training nenyun ko ayai komie. Ako atinye kamang'unet ale boibu goal yekibe Peru. Ko kina promise ni Kenyans alenjini ma ledeni down aibu goal. Ko netai mising amache awek kongoi coach nyun amun sika miten ro ko inendet. Kawekini kongoi inendet akwaleni ma ledeni down akine akokilige akoboibu goal.
Kenyini ko kimuch ibel title notok nebo World School Cross Country eng tai akora imiten under 20 tos imwa ne akobo form notok netinye kenyini.
Ko netai ko kikoe iman race nebo World School ISF ko kinamwa kora aboibu kou notok ako belishewan Jehova kotoro aibu goal. Yes.
Labatet notok nebo steeplechase ko labatetab emet notok nebo Kenya ako kokikeren kabelishet nebo Olympics kimuch kerebenet mindilok choton chebo gold. Ne kit ne Diana sikeri ile kemuch ibu gold ak tos bo komonut ne ninye individually ak eng emetab Kenya ibu gold.
Netai ko bamuita ak afaiten sanget sa takanapta emetab Kenya komie ak kewegu medalishek kyok chebo steeplechase. Ko ale ak Kenyans maleden ak down abawegu akwandai world record. Yes.
Nebo let ko kenyit notok tos mara kebendi tai kenyit nenyone ko tet komiten world championship tos kimuch kekerin imigrate iwendi senior anan imiten junior.
Tawa miten junior kidogo malone nekitawe senior lakini ama nayo le konde story nebo junior.
Kiwang'chini yoto chitab kolenji logoiwek cho chebo emet ak chebo ureriosiek chekaitunen inguni kong'eten studio nebo Kass FM International. Kaininyu ko Caroline Kiplagat matinakte amu en kebeberta nebo oeng nebo tetutiet niton bo tililindo ko sirindenyo nebo logoiwek Chemtai Kirui ko tinyo ak daktari ole bendi kong'olonen miondo noton nebo Mpox netesetai kemwochini biikab emet koker kole katep neng'om komainamdagei miondo niton bo Mpox ne kokotou koletagei en emet konoton koitun en kebeberta nebo oeng nebo tetutiet niton bo tililindo en yuton bo Kass TV. Amakon kiy age tugul nekararan testai iker Kass TV amun kimnatet night.
Kupata KCB mobile loan bonyeza *522# au tumia KCB app leo. KCB for people for better. Sheria na masharti kutumika. Inadhibitiwa na Benki Kuu ya Kenya.
Akisiamini kabisa.
Ako kama kawaida hii iko request akatugul na imokinige kichongani gere screen ngunya komite namba chebo WhatsApp anan iwe kichoma master namba Facebook ije kichongan Kass FM.
Magat kinet biik ing barasoshek, magat kinet biik ing kanisoshek, magat kinet biik ing forums akatugul chemuch kinyor biik.
En sheria kokonu kenyit agenge. Kongeten kokakipitishan keripilen keisto NHIF kokonu kenyit agenge kot keyai transition.
Ndakibendi tu anguno akerwa ko keyai mazoezi marathon. Kebendi ngemiyo inai ke korok ile mi committee meting'ung biik 7. Meting'ung chemengen ile ng'o.
Tos kora chamdaat keveten anan makiveten kandoik chekiran komuch kobois ko cabinet secretaries en tai. Kongoi kot missing wakili Kipkoech Ng'etich imiten taonit nebo Nakuru.
Asikoarorwech missing kotinygei ak samutik chotok tindoi meng'ikab Nandi eng serikalitab emoni. Nelson Tarbei neng'ong soet.
Nekinyoru sirindenyo Isaac Koge nemi kwen nebo taonitab Eldoret.
Kongoi missing Caro Kiplagat kole kemwa ko kimi eng county noton nebo Uasin Gishu ako eng target yung kakunin pichait noton neu taonitab Eldoret.
Kepinyenyi.
Igaske Samson amunen kaberuren nekiberuren
Jehova. Emma kora ile ii agenge eng kanetik chotok chebo Sunday schools. Aha, otinye kanetik chetya?
Tinye kanetik chechang sarmanekit kanetik lo ko mi departments mi akwane aneti ngalekab brigade.
Mokochoronikchu ak lagokchu kiasiche ongekilgei eng labatet iyai mazoezi kiy age tugul ko iyai mazoezi at komenam akot tiembe komekese kiy kongomenam akot keldong'ung komami kiy iyome.
Betutab raini tetutiet ko nebo boisionik chebo keljin.
Karibu 93-95 kile kalany betab kahawa. Nikaanza sasa to nguno alde choto.
Mising chitab Kalenjin amang ole chamegei eng olda tugul ole tesetai nyorune tugetab Kass TV eng saishechu.
Kikamwa biik kole kikowalak the political environment. Oye kemwa kora. The politics is not about Azimio.
Yes.
For Kenya kwanza. The politics is about this issue.
In the sense that we would have wished to have somebody who is versed with issues about education, not law.
Ni sawa kabisa kichame tenwagik chi, please tenwa naba Masai kiasi tu.
So Masai kora. Bas kitieni ra ko isubuhi. Amite Masai. Nyosarwon ko Masai.
Yes. Tebutiet nametab tebutiet amu kele keboisie secondary kityo ngone chegei.
Kyane momoita kikwa sukul. Kyakaite chego kikoba sukul.
Siamini. Aki asante. Kongoi nyamu ngaitaje. Asante.
The new KCB mobile loan is unbelievably flexible and incredibly affordable. You can now borrow up to 1 million Kenya shillings from as low as 1.2% as a 1-day, 7-day, 14-day, 30-day loan, or enjoy a longer-term period of up to 1 year at competitive rates. Dial *522# or apply on the KCB app today. The KCB mobile loan, unbelievably flexible, incredibly affordable. KCB, for people, for better. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
This August, ni wakati wa kuachia watoto remote. Renew your subscription today for all the big and little kids to enjoy more fun and more adventures on our cartoon-packed kids channels all month long. ST Tunes, ST Kids, ST Kids Plus, Baby TV, CBeebies, Jim Jam, Da Vinci, Toonami, Cartoon Channel, and Boing.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome!
Buy the DTH full kit for only 2,999 shillings and top up 200 shillings to get the smart bouquet. Furahia na Star Times. You can also link your decoder to the Star Times on app to enjoy unlimited entertainment on the go, anytime, anywhere. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Aya, I'm not go TV stream. It's free.
Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Download Go TV Stream app for free. Enjoy live TV na shows kamia nane. Download and watch later, anytime, anywhere. Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Available to active subscribers. Go TV. Love it.
Eng komasta noton bo Eldoret ako kimi eng makawet noton nebo Silver Line noton nemite eng kwen noton nebo town.
Eng tetutiani ko tugul kewenye eng orit akobo tuguk chotok cheterter chetinyegei ak tililindo.
Mengosirin tetutiet noton nebo mung'aret ak bandab tai neitun eng ketesiet nebo Kass TV eng kila kasitab somok.
Bana ngolele mewe sukul alabat amwe kimamoche ale mosik.
Kikushini kong tuguk cheterter chetinyin inye kabatindet.
Kila komut kasi kong'ete sait aeng nebo kemboi tetutiet ko #nenetesetai.
Imuch kotar eng boroindo nebo somok eng labatet nebo Kass Marathon ko koimuch kobut record nebo women only record nebo marathon eng taonit notok nebo London.
Koi minister nebo agriculture akemwa kele kakomong phosphate chema phosphate cheng'ung'unye kolya matunun akomwa kole mokwookse kokeny onyoiwekab kabatik.
Cheni alasu agawe ngongoi baba mugisarwa.
Kass TV agine kora Kass FM International. Kitesetai ak roadshow kong'eten uluogi nomo kabo subui.
Eng nyanjet niton po Lake Baringo noton koboto alak en nyasutikab beek chekimut kobet telelet
melit eng kenyitab 2004
Jumatatu agoi komut kasi kong'ete sait 11 akoi sait 12 ak kebeberyat nebo koskoling.
Akomwa kibagenge nebo Cambridge kokochi kurset eng serikali nebo emoni koteshi icheket rabisiek. Nito ko tetutietab tililindo ole inyorune logoiwek tugul chetinyegei ak kanyoiset cheboto kanetisiosiek chetoretin eng teretab mionwogik. Testai iker tetutietab tililindo eng Kass TV amu kimnatet naet.
Good evening and welcome to the Tililinda program. My name is Chemtai Kirui. Tonight, we turn our focus to a pressing health issue impacting our region, the Mpox virus.
The situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern.
On August 14, 2024, the World Health Organization escalated Mpox to a public health emergency of international concern.
Mpox has been reported in the Democratic Republic of the Congo for more than a decade, and the number of cases reported each year has increased steadily over that period. Last year, reported cases increased significantly, and already the number of cases reported so far this year has exceeded last year's total, with more than 14,000 cases and 524 deaths. Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of Mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
This declaration showcases the disease's alarming spread and severity. Mpox, previously known as the monkeypox, was first detected at the Democratic Republic of Congo in September 2023 and has since expanded beyond the DRC Congo to neighboring countries including Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, and now Sweden, with Kenya recording its first case in the Taita Taveta County in the late July 2024.
Mpox, as we know it, is an infectious disease. It's caused by the virus, and the virus is known as the monkeypox virus. Now, it's usually characterized by three major symptoms. There are many, but the major ones I would like to state is that it's characterized by fever, and then we have swelling of lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are usually found in your neck, axilla or the armpit, and then around the groins. But then it's also followed by lesions. So lesions in the mouth, in other mucosas, and the skin rash, which starts on the face and then can spread to other parts of the body, including the palms of your hand and the soles of the foot. Usually, most people recover, but some people do develop severe disease, and then a few people unfortunately die from the disease as well, those who develop complications.
Kenya had identified 14 suspected cases, including one confirmed case of Mpox, or what the doctors are calling MPXV clade 1B, while 12 cases tested negative and results for one are pending. There have been no deaths reported in Kenya so far in regards to Mpox virus. Mpox was first discovered in 1958 in captive monkeys, and the first human case was identified in 1970 in the DRC. For decades, it was regarded as a rare infection confined to remote areas of tropical Africa. The 2022-2023 global outbreak, however, revealed Mpox potential for widespread transmission, affecting over 100 countries and nearly 90,000 cases worldwide. This recent surge of Mpox is driven by the more virulent strain, which has a higher case fatality rate and exhibits increased human-to-human transmission. The outbreak in Africa, particularly the DRC, has continued largely unabated, with significant numbers of cases and deaths reported. The virus has now spread into several neighboring countries, presenting a complex challenge for regional and global health systems. In response to this crisis, the Kenyan Ministry of Health has been proactive in addressing this situation. The Health Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Deborah Mlongo Baraza, recently assessed the country's preparedness by touring key health facilities, including Kenyatta National Hospital and the National Public Health Laboratories, emphasizing the importance of preventive measures such as regular hand washing and avoiding close contact with infected individuals.
It's spread mostly by close skin-to-skin contact. Part of the problem with monkeypox has a long incubation period. If you're exposed to it, it may take a week or two to get symptoms. First symptoms, fever, fatigue, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes. Then a week after that, this characteristic rash. That rash is what really spreads it. So when you get that, you're going to spread it if you come close in contact with people. So I guess the message is with strangers, be careful with getting too close to strangers right now, because you never know who may have monkeypox.
The disparities in access to vaccines and treatments between high-income and low-income countries have been stark. While developed nations had access to vaccines and treatments, many African countries, including the DRC, have struggled with shortages and slow distribution. Recent efforts are underway to address these gaps, but the scale of the outbreak requires a coordinated international response. Tonight on this program, we will delve deeper into the impact of this outbreak, examining its implication for our region and the steps we can take to safeguard our communities. We will be joined by Dr. Hilary Tarus, a general practitioner and psychiatrist, who will offer experts insights into Mpox virus. We will discuss the current situation, preventive measures, treatment option, and the critical role of both global and local health responses. So stay with us as we provide in-depth coverage and expert analysis on the Mpox virus right here on Kass TV. Don't go so far.
This August, ni wakati wa kuachia watoto remote. Renew your subscription today for all the big and little kids to enjoy more fun and more adventures on our cartoon-packed kids channels all month long. ST Tunes, ST Kids, ST Kids Plus, Baby TV, CBeebies, Jim Jam, Da Vinci, Toonami, Cartoon Channel, and Boy.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome!
Buy the DTH full kit for only 2,999 shillings and top up 200 shillings to get the smart bouquet. Furahia na Star Times. You can also link your decoder to the Star Times on app to enjoy unlimited entertainment on the go, anytime, anywhere. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to Kass TV. Hello and welcome to the Tililinda program. My name is Chemtai Kirui, and I'm really excited to be back here in studio to have a conversation with you about an issue that is really important, the issue of Mpox virus. As you've seen from the first segment that we've aired there, the discussion today is about understanding Mpox. Of course, tonight I'm sitting in on behalf of Karo Chesang Sirma, who is taking the sail at the Kass FM station. Tonight on the program, I'm joined by Dr. Hilary Tarus. He comes from the Medhari National Teaching and Referral Hospital. He's not a new face here. You've seen him before, but I'm really excited to have him here tonight to have a discussion about this issue that is taking focus in the whole country. And of course, the virus issue has been discussed for a while, but we want to understand it in deeper meaning. Thank you so much, Dr. Ari, for making time for us.
Thank you very much, Mutai. As always, it's always good to come back here. I feel very welcome. The reception has been amazing so far, and even for my second visit. And also, I'd like to commend the TV station for taking the time to discuss some of the most pressing matters as far as the health of the country is concerned. And I think, and I truly believe right now, it's very important that we talk about the Mpox virus. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and we truly appreciate your time, you coming back. I know last time when you were sitting here, we were talking about a different issue about mental health, but today we want to tap into your expertise as the general practitioner, just to understand a little bit about this Mpox. Is it something that we need to be concerned about, right? I know from the first segment we've talked about a little bit about it, but for now I just want to understand, take us back a little bit, what is Mpox?
Okay, so Mpox is a viral disease. It is classified as a zoonotic viral disease.
Okay,
so
what does that mean?
Zoonotic means, it's from the word zoo, which refers to animals. So this refers to a disease, an illness that can cross from animals to human beings. Like COVID-19 was classified as a zoonotic, zoonotic virus, because we believed it. The virus did come from the bat before crossing to a human being through an intermediate organism. So the monkeypox, also known as the Mpox, is a viral infection caused by the monkeypox virus. It was first discovered in 1958 in a country called Denmark by a scientist who was studying monkeys. He noted that there was a group of monkeys that would develop a pox-like illness. So we define an illness as a pox if it causes lesions on the skin, if it causes swellings on the skin. Like, for example, I'll take you to chicken pox, to smallpox. Now, something very interesting is that this virus, the Mpox virus, is very similar to the virus that causes smallpox. Yes, fortunately, smallpox has been eradicated. We've not had a case since 1980s, thanks to the numerous vaccination outreaches. So, Mpox is a virus. We know that it originated from the monkeys, but we have seen it also in other organisms like squirrels.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a new outbreak of the monkeypox virus. There was a previous outbreak around in 2022, but now we have a new outbreak. So what makes this new outbreak a bit more concerning to healthcare practitioners is that this is a new strain of the Mpox that is seen to be more transmissible than the previous strains.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think something that I wanted to understand, Doc, is you say this thing has been there since 1958. We are in 2004. Why is it a concern now? Why is it that now we are getting to hear it and there's an emergency being called saying like, hey, we need to watch out for this?
Yes, like I've mentioned, now there's a new outbreak.
Okay.
There are certain regions that are endemic to Mpox viruses. When you say a region is endemic to a certain illness, it means that cases of illness are frequent in these areas. I'll give you an example. The coast area is endemic to malaria. So it means that, yeah, there could be some few cases here and there, right? Now, when you have an outbreak is where you have a rising of that illness outside the areas that are known to be endemic. What are the Mpox endemic areas? We're talking about the DRC region, areas like Gabon, some places of, some areas in West Africa. So two things that are of concern is that we are seeing there's a new outbreak of a strain that is more transmissible than the previous strains. And then we're having numerous cases, some cases even about 110 countries have been affected. We have about 100,000 new infections and about 530 deaths, give or take. And in the previous Mpox transmission, we didn't have any cases reported in Kenya. At present, we have about 3 cases reported.
Yeah.
So it's not a reason to panic, but it's a reason for us to be on high alert.
Okay. What do you mean by strain, Doc? You know, sometimes we hear these cases, and for example, the case you mentioned in Kenya, the 3 of them, they are from truck drivers. So people have been traveling to DRC forever. Now there's this new strain, and now it's coming to Kenya. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so when we talk about strain, we have to, when you talk about viruses, there is an aspect of that viruses go through called mutation, which means there's changes in their genetic makeup, which is usually random and accidental. So as the virus is trying to replicate itself, like to try to copy itself, there could be some errors that happen in the process, leading to an offspring, if you will, of the virus that is slightly different from the main virus. Now, usually when these defects happen in any organism, they're usually disadvantageous to the offspring. I'll give you an example. In human beings, there is a genetic mutation that causes albinism, that causes a child to lack the melanin pigmentation, which leaves them susceptible to UV rays from the sun, increasing their chances of getting skin cancer and all those complications. But sometimes you could have a mutation that is advantageous to the survival of the offspring.
Wow. Okay.
If that happens to a virus or a bacteria, it will have an emergence of a new, slightly different organism than the parent organism. Right? So that is what we call a new strain. Yeah.
So that's why now we are seeing cases like you've mentioned in Kenya. We are having it when before we've had this for a very long time, but those cases haven't happened.
Now we have a strain that is much more resilient, is transmissible much better than the older generation. Let's talk about the Gen Z of the Mpox, if you will. That is making its way all the way to Kenya.
Yeah. So you mentioned the new strain. You've mentioned the Mpox itself making ways to different countries, right? What are some of the symptoms that people need to watch out for? Because now we are seeing, like, I think the last time we talked it was 1. Now we're in 3, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the symptoms we need to be watching out for?
It's just like any illness, early detection, early screening, early treatment is always beneficial to the general prognosis, right? And even it helps to reduce, so it's good so we can isolate and quarantine and also curb the spread, the transmissibility of an illness. So when you are infected by the virus, usually the incubation period is between 7 to 21 days, give or take. The incubation period is usually the time between infection to the development of the symptoms. Even when you get a cold, you don't start coughing the day your colleague coughed into your nostrils, right? So once you start develop the symptoms usually can be divided into 2 stages. You have the transmission stage, which will last between 1 to 3 days. In the transmission stage, you'll have symptoms like a fever, joint pains, back aches, just feeling tired. And then you have the eruption phase. So this is where you have the cutaneous lesions that you've shown your viewers. This is probably what you've seen in the pictures.
The scary, big, boil-like.
That is usually now the eruption phase. The eruption phase would come about 1 to 3 days after you start developing, after you develop the fever. Now, there could be complications of where there is a co-infection. What do I mean by that? So you have the initial disease, and then there's other infections that could come in when your immune system is overwhelmed, or when the patient has all those breakages on the skin. So there could be entry of a secondary infection. Complications, although they're limited and they're not common, you could have things like pneumonia or an infection of the brain.
Whoa. That's scary, and especially now that children are going back to school, there's a lot of traveling. There are people who are coming from one part of the area to another. I know there are people who are coming from Taita Taveta to the Rift Valley region. Is there a way of, at this early moment, even as you're talking about the symptoms, is there a way of detecting it early before you get to that point where now you're seeing the lesions and things like that?
Well, unfortunately, there is no way to detecting it, especially considering the people who are affected, people from DRC, Congo, people in the rural or the remote part, those border towns, they may not be educated. Because when you're in the first phase of infection and you're having your joint pains, fever, your muscle aches, it's very easy to just think, oh, maybe I'm just tired, or maybe it's what, maybe I'm developing a cold or whatnot. And it's only when they get into the eruption phase that's when most people panic and say, oh, this could be Mpox because I saw it in TV or whatnot. Now, we are recommending for screening, not for everyone, but if you do develop these symptoms and you have traveled to that region or you've been in close contact with someone who has had a confirmed case of Mpox, it is prudent that you report, you self-isolate, and you seek medical advice.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful. But now, for that one person who already has these symptoms and they've not gone to the hospital, the nearest clinic, right? I'm told this is the point where now they can transmit to others once you see those lesions and things like that, when you're talking about transmission of the same?
As soon as you develop the symptoms, you are infectious. Of course, the degree of infectious will depend on how infectious you are, will depend on how severe the illness is, at what stage it is. But we assume as soon as you start having a fever and joint pains, you are infectious.
Why am I getting scared? I'm seeing a COVID-19 kind of issue here, because we started with seeing patients 01 and we thought, since I've been gone to China, I'm safe, and then little did we know what transpired. Are we seeing the same case when it comes to Mpox?
Well, with Mpox, the mortality rate is very low, between 1 to around 10%, 11%. In other words, like very few people die from it, and it's not a reason, it has not yet broken out into a global pandemic. So far, we're just taking precautionary measures. The survival rates are quite good. People at risk are usually children, pregnant people, or people with who are immunocompromised.
And speaking of people at risk, we've had cases of it being a sexually transmitted disease. Is it true, or is that a myth?
Oh, so which leads me to how is it transmitted? It's okay. So there's two types of there's two ways that Mpox can be transmitted from one person to another. One is animal to human transmission. Usually the virus was identified in monkeys, so you can get it by close contact with an animal that is infected, either through respiratory droplets or bodily fluids of the said organism.
What did you mean by respiratory what?
Like when you're talking, or even when you're breathing, there are microscopic particles that emanate from your nose and also from your mouth. And you can sense it mostly when people sneeze or cough, or even talking or singing. We were actually made aware about this when we were talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, remember?
I remember,
Now, bodily fluids, we're talking about sexual fluids, saliva, blood, and also the secretions that come from the lesions on the skin of a patient who is in the eruption phase of the illness. And then the second type of transmission is all human to human transmission. Same respiratory droplets, bodily fluids, sexual fluids. So it is a sexually transmitted illnesses. Make no mistake about that. And you can also get it through infectious items like utensils, towels, or bed sheets, or even sharing clothes. And especially when a patient has those cutaneous lesions.
So what I'm hearing is, if and when there's a place where it's endemic, for example, people need to take cautions, especially at the border there, because if you come in contact with that, then the risk of being transmitted is high. Is it the same as when you're going through a matatu, for example, at the border and the congestion there? Do you get Mpox as well?
Yeah, because there's close contact with people you don't know who you're with. When the windows are closed and someone is sneezing and coughing, yes, it is possible to get it there through close contact. Now, limited physical contact like shaking hands or hugging is not known. Is not a way that Mpox can be transmitted.
Wow.
But kissing, very close contact, sexual intercourse is a way it can be spread.
And what do we take from seeing individuals in Kenya who've been infected by this case, or the samples that have been taken from people who are suspected to have Mpox in Kenya are long truck drivers. What does that mean?
Well, we only have, I think it's about 3 to 4 cases. There could be maybe 1 today, I don't know, but 3 to 4 cases so far from a sample of about 250,000 for us, so the rates of transmissibility are still very low. People are at risk are people who cross the border into Uganda and DRC and those regions. Of course, truck drivers, one of them was, one of the people who was infected was a truck driver. I think there needs to be extra and a lot of effort towards educating people who are at risk of infection, like the truck drivers, people living in the border towns. I think it means that we need to have more testing, more government initiatives, or at least, especially in the border towns, we need to have more initiatives towards making sure that people who have crossed the border or are suspected to have come into contact with people or have been to areas that we know are endemic to the Mpox virus have some government-paid testing. Right?
Yeah. And also, because I'm thinking of people, for example, who are living in Tarbo and there are stops there with trucks, right, coming along. So there needs to be high calls for hygiene, for example, because you're interacting with people who are moving around. But the good thing, like you've said, there are tests at the border, right?
Certainly, Chemtai. I think prevention is better than treatment. Personal hygiene is important. Washing your hands, making sure you wash your utensils, not just sharing utensils with other people or personal effect objects. That is okay. Practicing safe sex is also a good measure to stop the spread of Mpox virus. And I think we should, people who, I hope they're watching, the truck drivers and people who cross the border, I hope they can benefit from this broadcast, and they should take care of themselves, make sure they're washing their hands, they're keeping hygiene to the maximum.
When I told people that you'll be coming to studio today and you're going to have this discussion, there were a lot of questions actually that were coming along, and they wanted us to stick a little bit on the issue of prevention and protection, just so we try and educate, right, from the knowledge that you're having here, so that we don't have another epidemic, like the one we had for COVID. But I think for prevention and protection, we can come back to it a little bit more.
Yes.
I want to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to look a little bit on the questions that the people have been sending in and see if we can look deeper into the issue of prevention and protection. So my name is Chemtai Kirui, and I'm sitting in with Dr. Hilary Tarus, understanding the issue of Mpox in the country.
Aya, I'm not go TV stream. It's free.
Go TV stream ikom kononi nani free. Download Go TV stream app for free. We enjoy live TV na shows kamia nane. Download and watch later anytime, anywhere. Go TV stream ikom kononi nani free. Available to active subscribers. Go TV, love it.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at a discount. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will display the discount you qualify for. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies you won't find anywhere else. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Kote nchini mbele tuendelee, mbele Kenya twende mbele,
Kenya
tuendelee,
twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
changamka leo, changamka Cheza Loto.
Chomoka na 1 million Kenya shillings every hour na Loto. Isitoshe, kuna chomoka bonus ya 50,000 kwa watu 50 kila siku na plot ya 50 by 100 Kitengela kila wiki. Si hayo tu, mwezi huu chomoka na golden jackpot ya 2 million shillings, silver cash ya 1 million shillings na bronze bonus ya 500,000. Changamka, cheza Loto kwa paybill number 777-000. Andika neno
Kass
kama account name. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 1,000 na uchomoke na chapa leo.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Welcome back to the Tililinda program. My name is Chemtai Kirui, and tonight we are discussing the issue of Mpox, trying to understand what it is, how is it transmitted, and what can we do to prevent the transmission of this disease, and of course to avoid it becoming a pandemic. With me in studio is none other than Dr. Hilary Tarus. He comes from Madari National Teaching and Referral Hospital. He is a general practitioner and a resident psychiatrist. And before the break, we talked about what Mpox is and the symptoms that you need to watch out for when it comes to this issue that is a discussion all over the world, the issue of Mpox. But now we want to look at the issue of prevention, right? And before the break, the doctor said one of the ways that we can protect ourselves is to practice good hygiene. But I wanted to understand, Doc, is there other ways that we can take, right? For example, we are sitting here, I'm assuming I don't have Mpox, right? How can I ensure that this is the case going forward and protect my family and friends from this disease?
Okay, so prevention of Mpox is not just at a personal level, but also at a societal level. First way is to gain the knowledge on Mpox, to know what to look for, because diagnosing you early could mean that you're not out there spreading the Mpox. Simple things like just washing your hands after, before taking a meal or after social interactions, before you go in and having food, cleaning yourself, like we've talked about things like bed sheets and towels, not sharing those items, making sure those items are clean in your house, not sharing toothbrushes or like personal effects. And if you will share spoons in the house, you make sure they are well washed, right? Another thing that we can talk about is if you have Mpox, right? Or if you know someone who has Mpox, it's important that you report to the relevant authorities. The said individual is quarantined. And if you have Mpox, it's also up to you to try and not transmit it, right? So you can try to wear clothes that cover the lesions in your skin when you get them. Vaccination is a good way to prevent yourself from any illness, but at the moment, yes, there are vaccines that are that have been FDA approved to fight and mitigate the Mpox virus. But at the moment, because of the limited dosage that we have, we see no indications of having a global vaccination program like we did with COVID-19. Right now, vaccination is only limited to people who are at risk, like healthcare providers who are working in such areas, or people who have had contact with a person who's been suspected to have Mpox.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the issue of vaccine is what I wanted to ask you, and it's good that you mentioned it. Are we seeing a point where now all of us will be required to be vaccinated?
No.
Like the way it was with COVID?
No, right now WHO does not recommend that.
Okay.
You remember when I said the Mpox is similar in its morphology and anatomy to the smallpox virus. So the same vaccines that we used for smallpox can also be used for Mpox with about 85% efficacy.
Okay.
At the moment, vaccination is only limited to people who are working in, who are treating people who have Mpox, people who've had contacts with a person who's been confirmed to have the Mpox. And also it's being advocated for in areas that are endemic for smallpox, like in the DRC, Congo and whatnot. Yeah. So at the moment, vaccine is not recommended. Is not even available for the general population, but there are steps being taken by the government to start providing the vaccination in Kenya. Not for everybody, of course, for the relevant people, or depending on how the situation will be at the end of this year.
Yeah, I hear you. I know in DRC Congo, for example, deaths are being recorded, right? And you mentioned the strain, I think. The strain that you've said, which is now going across the border, is what is killing patients in DRC, right? Is there a treatment for Mpox?
So before, and also another thing that is making the situation very difficult to curb in a country like Democratic Republic of Congo is that it's a country that has been ravaged by war since the 1980s. The healthcare system is on its knees. Now, there's a lot of problems that arise when there is an outbreak in areas that have been plagued by war, because first thing, people cannot access healthcare as it is. You have a lot of internally displaced people living in refugee camps where personal hygiene is a matter that is placed in the back seat, and even accessibility to a healthcare center is limited because people are afraid to leave their houses because of the ongoing war. So these challenges are what have made the disease in DRC Congo to spread so rapidly, and even getting help or access to those areas is hampered by poor governance, lack of transport, or even the willingness of foreign doctors to actually go into with the fear of their lives. Yes. So these are some of the factors that have made Mpox to ravage DRC to such an extent.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. So is there treatment once you have this disease? Is there a virus?
So there's no specific cure for Mpox. Like for malaria, we have, you have the artemether, lumefantrine, you have the quinines or whatever have you. There is no specific FDA-approved cure for Mpox. At present, treatment is just limited to supportive care for the patient, controlling their fever, making sure they're not itchy. There's certain ointments that you can apply on the skin, giving a lot of fluids. Now, there are some antiviruses that are used to combat smallpox that have been seen to help or improve the outcome, or at least lessen the burden on the body when you have the illness.
As Africans, as we are, we always want to know if there are home remedies that we can do, if, of course, the medicines are not helping. Do you have
yeah, so if you have Mpox, you're at home, you've isolated, that's good of you to do. Stay well hydrated, get plenty of rest. You can take some paracetamol for the fever. There's a certain cereal called the oat. So there is evidence to show that bathing with oat can help with the lesions, as you will. And also, if you're at home, you have the Mpox virus, it's important also to report and self-isolate so that we can track the people who you've been in contact with. Balanced diet is also indicated.
That's good. There are options there. Now, this discussion that you're having here, Dr. can be seen far and wide, and probably there's someone watching this and they've had the symptoms that you've mentioned and they think, wait a minute, this could be something that I'm experiencing or suspecting that I have. If someone is thinking the same, what should they do?
Okay, so you're having joint pains, you're having fever. Could be indication of many illnesses. So assuming you've not yet gotten to the eruption phase, but you traveled to Uganda, right? Or maybe a workmate of yours or a friend or a colleague has been diagnosed with monkeypox. Say it's one of the 4 people who've been diagnosed in Kenya. Step 1 is to isolate. Step 2, you need to reach the Ministry of Health. There is a hotline. I don't remember the numbers, but you can give it to your people or to call. And you need to report so that we can track illnesses, and people who might have been exposed to the said illnesses seek medical advice, get medical attention. Yes, but what we've seen right now is that the survivability of Mpox is high. Yeah. Not that we should take it lightly because it's high, but it's a reason not to start widespread panic. And usually within a course of 2 to 4 weeks, your body should be able to recover from the illness. Now, people who are at high risk, like pregnant women, people who are immunocompromised, they of course need to be very cautious. Of course, if you have any of those conditions, it's important that you let the medical practitioner be aware of this, so that they can monitor you. Yeah. When we told the audiences that you'll be coming to studio, we posted it online, and we're getting a few messages, and most of it is a shout out to the doctor. We have Julius Maritim, who is following from Ngatipkong in Nandi County, and then we have Isaac Chirchir from Nandi Hills, and Hosea Mchelsea, looking forward to learning more about this discussion. And then we have Biwot, who is watching from Wasingishu County, Collins Kipkiri. I don't know why it's only men who are watching the discussion tonight. They're following up on the discussion, and I feel like this issue, because coming from COVID-19, Daktari, people are a bit cautious when it comes to this conversation, and that's why we appreciate the time that you come here to just allay the fear, and just trying to see that options that we have, the things that we can do in our own capacity to try and fight this epidemic not to become pandemic, right? But then there are myths that are coming with this issue of Mpox, right? So for example, they'll say probably someone who has an Mpox is someone who's eaten a monkey, for example, because you said it's zoonotic, right? Are there myths that we need to debunk today here at the program? Yeah, I think we can start by that one. Like, you get it from eating a monkey. No, but you don't get. So what's important is how you prepare the food, how you prepare the meat. Okay, like we'd mentioned, one of the endemic areas are DRC and some parts of West Africa. And if you notice, these are places where there's a lot of primate population. The primate population is high, right? These areas also, there is a lot of monkey consumption. They do consume some of the primates. But most of the transmission happens when they're hunting the monkeys, handling the monkey meat, or skinning the monkey, or cutting it into pieces. But as long as the food is well cooked, not that I'm endorsing the eating of primates, but as long as the meat is well prepared, then you should not worry about that. Another myth is that that it's a new virus that has been developed in a secret laboratory somewhere by nefarious government agents, and all those. No, it's not new. We have been aware of the monkeypox virus since 1958. Now, there's emergence of a new strain, but we're aware of the illness. That it's spread by mosquitoes. I think I've heard people say, no, it's not. The mosquito is not a vector for the monkeypox virus. You can get it from shaking people's hands. People say that it's only found in black people or Africa. No, there's cases even in Sweden. Is it the reason why they're not calling it monkeypox anymore? Some media outlets, especially in America, refer to it as Mpox, or at least they're pushing for the Mpox word as opposed to monkeypox. That's one of the ways they're trying to be sensitive because it originates from Africa, and there's majority of the first cases were among black people. So it's one of the measures that they're trying to curb maybe misconceptions about the virus. I hear what you're saying. So Mpox is monkeypox. Yeah, it's the same. Depending on how politically correct you want to be. Right? I think when we're talking about these viruses, about pox viruses as a whole, you mentioned smallpox, chickenpox, and now Mpox there. The key message there is hygiene. Would you not agree with that? And that's the same thing we were taught when we were talking about coronavirus, right? Yes. Would you say, like, if we all
whether we have these epidemics coming in or not, if we all practice good hygiene, there's so many diseases that will be alleviated.
Yes. Yes, there's usually a certain, this is the psychiatrist talking, there's usually just a certain revulsion that we have towards germs, towards dirt, when you see something that is disgusting, like human feces, right? They've even done experiments with monkeys, and monkeys would be repulsed by their own feces. It's that natural instinct that comes from human being when you see something that's unhygienic, right? There's that compulsion that we get to stay away from people who are unhygienic. Even if no one has ever told you or ever taught you about personal hygiene, this is a measure that we evolved into to try to curb diseases unknowingly, right? So remember, most illnesses are spread through by particles that we cannot see with the naked eye, be it viruses or bacteria, and an universal way, an universal antiseptic, antibiotic is soap and water. So just cleaning your hands with soap and water, your body can help you to alleviate a lot of illnesses or to prevent such diseases like monkeypox. The same with the COVID vaccine. Now, there's something that we need to be careful when we're talking about illnesses, especially the ones that are caused by viruses, because viruses have been seen to be more resilient than bacteria. They can survive on surfaces for far longer than most bacteria would, right? So, and then remember, because of the way viruses work, in that once you're attacked by a virus like monkeypox, it's not unlike the mosquito parasite that will be swimming in your bloodstream and affecting your red blood cells. Viruses usually enter the cells, the body of the cells of the body, thus making it difficult to combat or to treat or to eradicate from the body. So our best weapon for viruses by far is just good personal hygiene.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you, because I remember after COVID, reports that we were getting here in the studios that so many diseases were like issues like flu, they were so low when there were cases of those illnesses that will be transmitted with bad hygiene. Yeah. Right? So take home today is please. Personal hygiene, what keep clean. Yes, right? Keep clean. So we manage as a country to fight smallpox, right? I haven't had cases about smallpox before.
Since 1980.
Yeah. Going forward now, what do you think is the I don't want to use the big words really. What is the outlook when it comes to the issue of Mpox? What are you foreseeing?
So the future with Mpox will depend on a lot of things. What we're going to do as a society to try and curb it at this level. Any measures taken by the government as far as vaccination is concerned, as far as educating and sensitizing the people on the ground on it. But also there's certain factors like, is the disease going to mutate from here henceforth? So at the moment, at present, the prognosis, in other words, the future outcome of a patient with Mpox looks very promising. The survivability is very, very good. The transmissibility is very low as compared to COVID-19. So it will depend on how we act right now. Yeah.
Doc, I can't let you go without bringing out this issue. Few people in the country are being said at the moment to have been impacted by the issue of Mpox, right? And no one wants to be number one when it comes to contacting diseases, and it comes with the issue of isolation and things like that. So there's a psychological aspect of this. How do you think people like that need to deal with being the first one or patient 001 when it comes to these cases?
Yes, I think there's another aspect of combating global global pandemics that errs on the side of the mental health aspect, right? A few things can be said about it. Number one, when you talk about the anxiety and the fear that comes, which is the reason why most people have been tuned in today. The best way you can combat that, number one, the anxiety and fear, is to get information I'm sure there's a lot of people who are a bit more relaxed now that they know they have the tools. Because anxiety usually stems from fear, right? I'll give you an example. When you were little, you were afraid of the dark, right? But that's not...
I still am. I don't think it's a little thing.
But more so when you're young,
Yeah,
right? Because when you look at the
sure.
dark, you don't know what's there, right?
yeah,
So your mind tends to feel that lack of knowledge with some of the most grotesque and fearful images that you can have. But you grow up, you learn about light, how light moves, what causes darkness, and you become less and less afraid of it, right? So number one, anxiety, get information and battle the anxiety. Number two is the stigma that people could face because of Mpox. Say you've been, and let's be honest, let's be frank with ourselves, there might be other cases that could be reported in the country. Let's try not to stigmatize people who have had or who will be tested positive for monkeypox, now that we understand how it is transmitted, what happens when you get the illness, why you get the illness, and all those. Now, on the side of isolation, the Ministry of the WHO recommends that you isolate between 2 to 4 weeks from the point you develop the symptoms. 2 to 4 weeks is a long time to live by yourself. Human beings evolved to become social creatures because back then, 100 years ago, living by yourself would mean the demise of that would be detrimental to your survival. It's only right now with KDF and the Kenyan police force and the gated communities that you can live by yourself. But traditionally, but at a brain level, the body has not yet evolved psychologically to live by yourself. So people who live by themselves, or people who isolate, when you isolate, you leave yourself open to, you stand a chance, or you're at risk of developing things like anxiety, depression. People with underlying mental illnesses like schizophrenia or bipolar mood disorder are likely to have relapses. You are at risk of developing substance use and whatnot. So there's a psychological aspect that needs to be discussed when, or should the government decide to order people to isolate. And I'm happy now, because of COVID-19, we are aware of these things and this aspect.
Yeah, for sure. And also the other thing that we noticed with this patient 001 is when they discovered that truck driver from Taita Taveta, it wasn't only him who was tested. They had like, I hear 21 others, whoever he came across, right? So there's also that aspect of people surrounding the patient, right? They also need to be aware about their mental issues, because not only is this person infected, but even people around them and even the caretakers too, right?
Yeah, they need to be that. I mean, in this aspect, we're talking about the issue of fear and anxiety.
Yeah,
right?
it goes back to that,
It
right?
goes back to that. And the only way you can combat it is knowledge and actually getting tested.
Yeah. How else does mental health help when all of us as a country are in the verge of fearing, oh God, I haven't even recovered from COVID, and now the World Health Organization is declaring a public health emergency. Should we be really scared, or how can we handle this part of unknown, even though you've said this is not like something that we need to start packing and moving where now, because it's a global health issue now?
No, like I said, this is not like COVID.
Thank God.
It's not like COVID-19. We know that it doesn't spread as easily as COVID would, where you'd have like one person spreading to like 10 people or 20 people in a day. And even before the symptoms start showing, the people are already transmitting it to other people. And also we know the survivability of this illness is very good for most people. I think, so with the mental health aspect, I would caution people, especially healthcare workers who might be called to work in areas with monkeypox outbreaks, to be very mindful of their mental health and seek help when they feel that they should seek help. And also I think it's important to limit your sources of information to trusted people, to people like doctors, or maybe a TV station that has a doctor on to talk about the issue. and also to limit the amount of information you're consuming from social media on the said illness. I think that was another thing that really affected people as far as the mental health is concerned, is getting sources from getting information from unlicensed sources. Yeah.
I hear you. This has been really helpful, Doc. Time is running out. I feel like we've really touched bases on the issue of Mpox, and from my discussion with you, my fear is a bit lower now. I understand that the reason why DRC, for example, is having all these cases is because of the congestion and people being internally displaced and lack of health. Here in Kenya, we've seen the government taking measures, and they also, I think Uganda has the same issue, but from the last conversation I had with a colleague there, their government hadn't started checking the borders. So Kenya is taking proactive measures, and so I'm getting comfortable.
Let me say this about the Ministry of Health, as far as the information is concerned from their website. They have done a couple of measures. They have trained about 120 people who have been sent to certain designated emergency, they call them public health emergency areas. These are specific institutions, healthcare institutions all over the country. An example is Kenyatta National Hospital, you have Coast General Hospital, you have Kisumu Referral Hospitals, where they have set up centers that can, that have the testing kits, that have the preventive clothing for healthcare workers who are going to be dealing with expected cases of Mpox viruses. And also there's a lot of effort to try and make sure that there is a vaccine present at least by the end of the year. So the Ministry of Health has got you guys covered.
That's really good, and it gives us hope.
Yes.
As you're finishing, Doc, is there a way of us preventing cases of epidemics and pandemics as a nation or as a world? Is there a way where one day we can just wake up and say we are all prepared, nothing like COVID is going to hit us?
At the moment, there is no. I think illnesses will be part of our existence for the foreseeable future. Of course, we are hopeful that maybe one day, maybe not within our lifetime, where human beings will be able to overcome the burden of illnesses, that will say we are free from all illnesses or maybe death or whatever it may be. But at the moment, understand that we're not the only living organisms that are sharing this planet with us. And unfortunately, the viruses and the bacteria are very resilient. They're very easy for them to develop one strain from the other. I'll give you an example, something as simple as malaria. Before, malaria was easily defeated by quinines, but the strains we have these days, most of them cannot be defeated by the conventional methods. There's a reason why scientists have to come up with new bacteria. Anytime there's a global pandemic or an outbreak of an illness, this is just basically microorganisms showing more resilience to survive than we do, to the point that it's the detriment of our survival. I cannot speak on what could happen in the future, but we know viruses are prone to, they're more likely to develop new strains. So we should battle them as they come and take one day at a time, one step at a time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Doc. And thank you for being the friend of the show. I hope we'll get to see you again here in the studio. So many discussions that we need to have. You mentioned the issue of malaria, and I feel like as a country, because we've lived with malaria for so long, we tend to assume. But now, like you've said, there are strains actually, and people are dying because of something that we thought we have a handle of it. So I hope to see you again here in studio. Yeah?
Thank you very much. Nizatuma salamu.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd like to say hi to my people from Kapchemgum.
They're tuned in.
I'll die in Nandi. Hi guys. Still,
we are going to charge the doctor now for Salamu here. Well, as you've heard, Mpox is a concern, but not a huge concern for us as a country. The doctor said that there are steps that we can take to ensure that we protect ourselves from this virus. And on top of that is for us to practice good hygiene. And of course, if and when you suspect any symptoms, please go to the nearest clinic. My name is Chemtai Kirui, and this has been the Tililinda program. As I said, I was sitting in for Chesankaro Sirma, who is taking the sail at the Kass FM radio there. That's it for tonight. I'll see you on the next one. From us here at Kass TV, thank you for your company and have a good night. Bye.
mbele, tuendelee. Mbele, Kenya twende mbele.
Kenya twende mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
Changamka leo, changamka cheza loto leo.
Chomoka na 1 million Kenya shillings every hour na Lotto. Isitoshe, kuna chomoka bonus ya 50,000 kwa watu 50 kila siku na plot ya 50 by 100 kitengela kila wiki. Si hayo tu, mwezi huu chomoka na golden jackpot ya 2 million shillings, silver cash ya 1 million shillings na bronze bonus ya 500,000. Changamka, cheza Lotto kwa paybill number 777-000. Andika neno
Kass
kama account name. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 1,000 na uchomoke na chapa leo.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been proved by the BCL.
KCB Mobile Loan ni mkopo flexible kabisa na kwa viwango nafuu. Pata mkopo hadi milioni 1 kwa kiwango cha 1.2%, ulipe ndani ya siku 1, siku 7, siku 14, siku 30 au mkopo wa muda mrefu hadi mwaka 1 kwa viwango nafuu. Kupata KCB Mobile Loan bonyeza *522# au tumia KCB app leo. KCB, for people, for better. Sheria na masharti kutumika. Inadhibitiwa na Benki Kuu ya Kenya.
As the sun rises, so do we, as we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your day. Star Times Home Solar Solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery. Powering your prosperity and happier life. Empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. Star Times Solar. Power your life.
to a new irrigation dam to komda kesochin kole kisoe kele torrot konemwak kisop chabich kisop sabon kokol bi kole nyanyiny ibwat kisir sauti nono en Pokot kotom kotogo boy Kenya chumbek ne nikikwerechi kostoikyo mogie siasa akwanet arambe nebo tesetab tai nigie kine practical nitogu ak ne borogutiet kemwa harambe kityo asikobit ketestai kwanet amangolo koson tugul en conference kwanet harambe 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 kwanet harambe nebo harambe Kongoi misi kitab kwale kumwe wanyila mwana kiye gure nyasangwa kono aliteti kimache kegas tugul ngole chege tugul kondo indo harambe kele nji irrigation tatu kochit metit
Kongoi kasta ikia kageri ikia tasagan gugen entit siyan Kass FM International entit tiga Washington DC kimya kwana danyon kwana tab Colorado nugulo betut tarigit tiptemagangwan en Rob Tui. Eye, amirutoy, chito nagiran en television, amirutoy, mite the new city, Loret, Koyuban, Tuyetap, Kota, Ka, nebo agricultural show, nebo show gitu. Kabarnetab tuguk chobe biik keyoe biik ne konito kakibwan ngunon soet kokikwanet kobo tugul ako mojasaengere ng'ololen ngunon tet mising ko kokitestai ta ano turkit niton noto rubani arap chepkwony netononjin kabarunonoto nekotononjin kokeker nekotononjin kabarunetab na show nebo krakacha nebo tuguk chechobe biik ne en biashara kokimingunon akwanet ngeng'alale ng'olyonono ak ng'alek chetesetai une siasa en Amerika kikere borege President Trump negi president kenyo liginye oganyu nechenge koik president Kamala Harris ninguno ngotoko vice president kotonyolu kobarge negi president Trump ak Joe Biden kobeljige ng'echeretab president en Amerika koikityo ko Kongoi missing Kipruput en Nairobi. Agere ale muswongnotet en Dr. Sambu ko agere ale kachunda ko siketestai ng'alalutik olachobegei daktari ko ngabwatwa kityo akobo ng'alekab binoculars. Yobwane binoculars kireu ketinye service nekararan kabisa, service nebo sauna. En nguni sauna ko kobwa biik chechang konyocheng'onu sauna, makobwa biik chechang nyokosto kaotik, mae biik kochut kerichek chekibo kipkaa chekicham ketukyingei komi en sauna. Komi kora jacuzzi, yemong'u en sauna ichute jacuzzi, kemwoe kele jacuzzi ko beek chekikiterem en yo kole chetou muratit lakini beek chelalang chechute orit ak ibur karibu kasartab sait agenge. Kotoreti kora kotangus ririot nebo bortang'ung. So biikab kwalenyi tugul kotokotin kobwane nyorchigei service nebo sauna en ainab Keles. Mite kora makawet ne yon keitu ikoitoi order, imwoitoi ile meche iam nee asikechobun. Mokyinigei amitwogik chebo kasari komi en ainab Keles. Imokyinigei chekibo kipkaa komite kora sochot. Imache ngunon mara komie nebo beek nebo kipshongik komiten en restaurant nebo ainab Keles. So tokotin nokwek tugul. Mite kora en kebeberta nekeyoen tuiyosiek kikuren conference hall inyoru en ainab Keles kampunishek chemakwai tuyoshek ak biik tugul chemakwai tuyoshek kou kurubishek kotokotin obwan kebeberta nebo ainab Kalas. Mite kora ole keruitos private rooms komi roomit ne self contained nemuch iru konyegen anan oruye ak family komite kora kebeberta nebo ainab Kalas. Mi kora dormitory ko roomit kora nemuche oruye biik chechang kobedote as a group komuche kora oruye kebeberta nebo dormitory. So otokotin okwek tugul komi lagokab sugul chekaituyon en olon komuche koruyo dormitory nebo ainab Kalas. So ngul kora komiten lekebiren beek komi kamasta nebo lagok chemengech, mi kamasta nebo biik cheechen. So alenjini biik tugul otokotin obwan sikobit inyobir beek en ainab Kalas. Kwanza ngunon kera sugul obwan wa exercise nebo borto wae fun obir beek en kirotetanyu. So biikab kolenjin tugul kotokotin. Namba nebo ainab Kalas ko 0112 701 334 0112 701 334 ko nambait kuno nebo ainab Kalas. Miten kora sauna nemiten en kebeberta nebo Sogou. Ko sauna ini komiten kora ak jacuzzi. Miten opposite Dr. Sambu Stadium. Miten stadium nemi yo ne kekuren Dr. Sambu anan imwoitoen Dr. Sambu. So komiten opposite. Kondeit yundet iwendi kora sauna inyorchinigei service nebo sauna nekararan, inyorchinigei service nebo jacuzzi. So sauna nemi ainab Kalas kokergei ak nemiten Sogouru. Itindoi ng'olyon ibir simet ko 0727 217 665 0727 217 665. Ngo mising daktari.
Kongoi Dennis Tadeno. Okasan komie.
Kinyoru komie daktari das.
Amite le muswoknotet atienge hoteli mongen. Mara ngonam tuguk alak chechwak koseman stimet anan nguvutab stimet kebetyi soet. Lakini ongemuten okwek. Takekonye Dennis Tongo mising en briefing nono takekonye Rubani nekondochin tuyoni anan kaborunoishek tuketesetai economy nenyon temisiet ne kokoyai kazi mzuri sana. Awekini kongoi takomwoe Rubani mwenye korkonyi soet akinyowekini kongoi nekonyitot governor nebo Uasin Gishu Dr. Chelilim kokituyo amut kitom kaketitosi katako tuyon chito lakini ibwote tugukyok tugul chekikinetisie ibwote kakitai betut netindoi 205 olikinye 206 before kakitai neboru ole kibunu biikab Kalenjin no kakitai ko kut age ko Egypt kokile Egypt kakitai kikuren kakitai Egypt kimi kandoindo anan nekitotesa nekibo keny nekibore Ptah anan ko Kiptah en Misri en kasarata keng'olole kutit neu neking'olole ngunono en Misri tongo Waarabu komwowon akobo kakitai tioneti noto ko Dr. Chelilim mwenyewe Anje kobor biik tukun chechang boisie bikyok oketestai matketestai kouni kolapkei tai amoche ito kwanet kokotis kwanet siolan kokionye Rubani nyokoteswek kotinygei mising ak tuyonoto anan kaborunoichoton so nan kokotis kwanet korok ongetaunen Kwambo Chepkoskei. Yes, Kwambo Chepkoskei. Imuchi amoutkei.
Kongoi daktari. Akotok tugul kwanet tugul cheakere komi lain tokoch daktari Pastor Deno ak Rubani nekikeni akotok tugul chechamegei. Amoche awekyi Jehova kongoi eng karunani rani amu kakenyoru boroindo sikobit ketuiye tugul kou kotugul. Kit netai nekamoche amwa ko kamoche abwotwo kora ale kekatag Peter Sawe, kata Peter Sawe, to commission tali lakini magoya, tetai gumye, we jera ene bangwa, ko gurum gasi sine, utestai autorit Peter, BQ, you go sene tai, or the style autorit Peter. The number jajibo amo go gotole 0729 690 812. 0729 690 812. So you authority neta Peter Rapso. Kora ngolio no tinye ko gamaja aliji mutia director Engulimbasiwa. Director Engulimbasiwa ko wibit ko ndonyi. Director ko jamge mi tule enge show ini ko director aliji mutia wibit ko ndonyi director Engulimbasiwa. Nimni olimbo giburo gokuta kiburo Engulimbasiwa. Aliji director mutia missing tilionutik lago tilionutik alina mutia engabe tutamama bas anyo gora amoja aweki wongo bike subi amoja aweki wongo chief justice mata kome amoja aweki wongo speaker of national assembly Moses Wetangula agije aktukul gigotor jeungo te jebile jeungo te jemwaino amu jeungo ta plach If you go to kabisa en program ne getinye ne gemoje kegon free secondary education akos extend and go to university waja manyuna akos ko moy bi gole la karara ni Bursary okay gerin television logo ki go nyol so je mo nyor visu jang logo ki go nget agele le ko le mi Bursary ko mi motor te ga tukul this wastage ningot kenam robin ja tukul ke collapse tukul go yamwa ke nyise ko engi ko sisto yamwa ke nyise ko engi ko sisto kot ko ko itwaga tini ya gel ko le ai mit ali ngogo sa ne mo ko ali Miami to so karara ele ko le ai mit ko ngala le ngale ga free secondary education at university amoja moji bi kyo if we are not careful in this country how we lose generation musima we are going to lose a generation and so mane gut kuma gripke ugere tu ke university ngudi ka go nyiki de la kweta ti to fomi komwa gole kwan ko e vos klisie kwan ko e vota ip ko alag nam naga ni ip ko kita de mogoriyo kot ko magi go ji tu ke nyoti te gi go ji te de mogoriyo rabinik de la pena mogoriyo rabinik ko tabala de ba kita ni nyalili ninyo ko kararan system na gi toy Lagin yo ligo ko ishe to maganan ni tamu mi giti wala ngogi tu boy kumong no ligitia anan give corruption amu steve ko la golia kita de kage ko ni po mi kita ako mo le kwan ko mo gase kwan ko pisan kita ni migayo tege rega pinde gi laje mogoriot kena bo mogoriot ke le masgini kiwal nenen kiwal ogyo gi jof ko mi lagin system na to garara ni nyolu ge rip ko mi so bi ku toris la gokyo lagini all in all ngiger nguno rabini ke ko se gele ngo gile ko to gabana 800 million Bursary lagini ngetu logo ko rajita kongot ki tu yanyun gut ko banas arta maktasa ko to yage over 500 million age tukul over 500 million that is a lot of money haya nyoge bwa woman rep 47 igo to rabini ko gebwa wa jumbe 290 constituencies ko to well over 100 million age tukul sasa hii silingata joto age te chess budget ke Ministry of Education ngudi ko silingata ni nyolu ge nam rabini gata tukul ke ga treasury te chege on free education monga na munne siko wi nengele nge mojibi kyoko wi ka ken Bursary gurote ga ko imbi nitu logo ga bi ke maba sombul agulo ki ngomen ala ke goni ke na mo Bursary ki go ji not logo ke bode school jege mo gi go jo temi podi ka ge bor ko le ba maskin logo ke mide ko je ka ba podi ku ka ba magari kerke logo tukul logo ki ngomi glass ko melengi ku tos ke le ba magari yot ngoro ke le ba ne bonan ngoro logo kerke tukul go ke le ga ke gun somanet ku ko somanet ne ba bu kongete logo ke menge jeni ako to sta ko university nge wastage de ga ko bari moni age te se ta ko ra ke extendoni yo ko se ke lengu ma dige to fanda ke no go liba in MCS for what Kit nenyolu kong'et inegei ko CDF. Taitya kenai ole kichoptoi CDF amu memuchi koversitan mjumbe CDF ako inendet cheitoi memukoksei. Nyolu ngotko kakoike notok kecheng biik alak cheoversitoni kekwe committee cheoversitoni CDF. Memuchi kong'et ko-oversitan ngolipa parliament taitya kosub rabinik choton chekoropta ngoli lakolen itoreti biik rabinikab taxpayers. That is not your money. Ma rabinikab chito. Rabinik cha ko taxpayer. Nenyolu kibeshe ak kiborchi biik. Ako kiyamwa kotugul mautiamwa. Kenya ko kikisir ng'atutiet 2010. Ki age tugul nekiyoe eng emoni kiyoe kele public participation. Nyolu ketebse biik chebo. Memuchi ngilecho uni amoche ketoretin kekon tuguk kouni. Amoche koek ane nomwa ale amoche keyoiwo kit le. Amoche kekon. That is why lazima ketebe biik public participation kele omoche keyoiwo ne. Kit age kora chama, kit age kora daktari nekomoche amwa. Ko kit nekikong'et kobit eng Ministry of Education ak mamake kichi sikelen kila mami konetik. Pendi retire konetik. Ako mi chekobek ing kwenuni chematakotar chekakobek. Ako mi budget. Taitya komakisir mwalimuiyot amune. Kotko ngiitu skulishek mami ngwa retire mwalimuiyot kokakobek kiyot. Ako komitei budget. Amune simakideclare vacancy eng yekame mwalimuiyot anan ko yekaritane mwalimuiyot sikotestai kotebi kunot amu mi budget kaban rabinikab mwalimuiyondoni kokwo retire. Kaban rabinikab mwalimuiyondoni kakokeskei. Ko amune simaking'et kereplace eng yot kobita system nekakichop. Amoche asom naat. Akere kong'etu koboldos komoche en ketesyi chepkondok iman soso. Lakini amoche kora kochut orit konai kole kotoret. Singong'et kosirto mwalimuiyot kereplace eng yoto. Koritan mwalimuiyot kedeclare bu kasi age tugul. Amu akot ngolobo kampuni ngo chito retire kereplace nikindoi chito yoto amu mi budget nebo accountant, mi budget nebo chito nekomi yoto. Konyolu ketoret kounoto asikobit ketestai. Ko ng'alekab kekolapsan chun tugul chun ko ngeai amu kiai hesabuk chetebe ng'unye kai hesabuk ako teng'ering'en ichegei. Korok wajumbe ichegei. Wajumbe ichegei kokoitoi nekit billion 30. 30 billion shillings. Nyoiwe governors kounoto. Nyoiwe woman rep kotinye chechi kora billions. Over 106 billion shillings. Chemi aketeshi asolipo chekamite capitation chemite sahi. Kowendi kot kenyoru somanet nebo buch. Ko kit nekomoche amwochi biikyo. Waker kit agenge nekobit eng Eldoret. Kalya Eldoret nekoek center nebo mogoraek. Nengiitu korot age tugul neya komi Eldoret. Korot age tugul neya komi Eldoret. Ko amwa ale sikobitu ng'alechu tugul komomoche biik kobois, moche biik tugukab buch. So kere kobitu amu kwaker chito nekole kwande 4 million shillings. Yekanyoru siling million 4 ko nekatebongoni iboisie imache ites inyoru tuguk alak chebo buch chemyeno. Ngonetkei biik kobois bane kasit nekakomach biik tuguk chebo buch. So kere komite mokornatet neteni ng'ete chito akipkokochi chito binafsi neu kwamba chepkoskei nematinye benkit ila akamwaun iman ale akonin interest. Akonin interest ab benkit. Binadamu neraia kawaida koberberin kabisa kolechin akonin interest every month. Amaitebeke ile ibunano chi interest chekokona arawet age tugul. Ngokelkitinen kokonin arawet agenge koroek oeng ko rabinikuk chekakonin kora keweku rabinik chata. Kokamoche asom biikcho atyem oboisie ngobois biik komete tugukab buch. Komete chomoche tugukab buch. Choto ko tuguk chekokoek biik koikoi mising moche biik tugukab